Right now. All right, we're live here. We got the return of Kennedy Walker, and Dave is here with us. I don't know. What he's doing. I can see his shoulder, but
Oh, I'm here, man. I'm just leaning on my desk. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
you're really hurting, aren't you, man?
Yeah, I'm a little tired, man. I didn't sleep well last night. Oh, so kick it off, Kennedy, man, huh?
Sorry guys, I'm trying to start the stream and apparently I had one more step that I needed to
Oh, okay, yeah.
get done. I'm just gonna upload something real quick for a cover, I guess, and then hold on just a second. Sorry guys. I'll just put, that as a cover. Alright.
So we got the return of Kennedy Walker, and Dave is here with us. He's feeling a bit under the weather, so we're gonna see him slumping most of the time, probably.
Yeah, get in here.
But so run, what's up, man? Talk to us. What's cracking?
Hang on just a second, I'm having a problem with this. Okay, obviously that's not wanting to cooperate, so I'll just record. Okay. Alright, so let's see what's going on today. It's the 13th. So back on like the 8th, I believe, I was getting groceries at the grocery store and I came out and there was cops like surrounding my car basically. And they were like, we have a warrant for you to arrest you. And so I submitted to the warrant and I allowed them to arrest me. And then they tried to put me in the car, which was just not going to work because the seats in the cars are crazy and they're these plastic built up things. And I have motor neuron disease, so I can't even really hold myself up. I have to be in a pretty good situation. Like, see this chair here? I have to use this chair because so that I can lift myself up. Because down lower on my spine, I start having just basically no response, or at least very little response. So my legs and stuff, which I'm a walker, but I can't basically walk. So anyways, they arrested me and they tried to put me in this car, and then since it couldn't be done, I ended up falling on the ground. And I told them the whole time, like, I'm disabled,
Yeah, they don't care.
You're gonna drop me. So then they picked me up by my handcuffs, which they were handcuffed behind my back, so they, like, chicken winged me, right? And picked me up by my arms, as if that's a legitimate way to pick a person up. Is that how the paramedics do it?
No.
Because that's not a legitimate way to pick a person up.
No,
and that was Officer Harnden, which you can find him in my arrest of several officers, several public employees there at the SSA office, Officer Harnden. He was one of the first responding officers, and he refused to honor his oath to arrest Officer Jones that just harassed me physically. In my state, it's harassment. In your state, it might be assault, it might be battery, something like that. But anyways, that's what he did when he was there. He refused to take my arrest, which is a 14th Amendment equal protection under the law violation. I have a state right to citizen's arrest, so placing him under arrest. Officer Jones, placing him under arrest is, it's perfectly well within my rights. And then for Officer Harnden to just, they just pretend like this stuff doesn't happen. They just live in denial basically all the time. So Harnden was the one that was doing the majority of the physical violence that day, the other day, on the 8th. And so they arrested me and took me to to the city police department. And I told them I needed medical attention because I was obviously just drenched with sweat and just totally jacked up, you know. And the truth is that the jail doesn't hold facilities to deal with someone that has a disability like mine. They really don't. And so really it was on the paramedics at this point to point out that I'm not physically fit to go and fucking play games in their dungeon with them. But they failed to do that as usual. All socialists are the same. They're all disgusting pigs. Every fucking one of them. And the paramedics and firefighters and all that shit, they're no different. They're all scum. So, at that point, I was transported to the Malheur County Jail. I live in Ontario, Oregon, which is right next to Boise, but on the Oregon side. Boise, Idaho. But I'm on the Oregon side, so it's about an hour away, something like that. So, essentially, this cop transported me to the jail. I talked a whole bunch of shit on him. He said he was a military bitch, which I fucking hate the military. I mean, what a bunch of goddamn traitors. I mean, fuck you. You don't even go to real wars. Straight up. You live off a bus and then you keep pretending like you've done something to service. And that's not service. When we pay you, that's called not service. That's called getting paid for a job. You know, and these fucking socialists, they don't understand that. They think that they're donating their time and that this money in their bank account just comes out of nowhere. Because they're delusional. All public servants are delusional pieces of shit. They really are.
Ill.
They are
mentally ill. Yeah.
They all suffered from delusions of grandeur. They also, I mean, this particular judge I'm dealing with now, I have no idea what he thinks he is. But as far as being a judge, that's
he ain't
not
no
even,
judge. Yeah, he's not a judge. He's just a toddler with a robe and a gavel. That's all he is, man.
No. And then after he found me competent to defend myself, so listen, I've been found competent by a judge to defend myself. Have you? Because I keep having these people show up and say, hey, you're crazy. Well, really? Because
of course.
How am I crazy if the judge just found me competent to defend myself legally?
You shouldn't call him a judge, dude. He's not a judge. He's not a judge.
Well, he's guilty of treason.
He's a piece of shit. Yeah.
He can't hold public office.
I forget what that guy. Did you watch that whole video? The guy called and said there's something with the C. Chat. I forget what it's called. But keep going. I'm sorry. Keep going.
You don't want me to respond to what you're trying to say, or
no. Just he had a name for the judges. He had a name for the judges and said what they actually are. They're not judges though in these courts.
No, a lot of them are
not. They're not lawful judges. They're not.
No, a lot of them are just sworn-in magistrates. They're clerks, man. That's
and they're swearing in. They're swearing into their own set of rules. So they're not really doing anything unlawful. Their Article 3 courts.
It's an Article 6.
I agree. It's fraud. I do agree with you that it's fraud. I agree. 100%. I agree.
I would say that since all of the courts are bound to United States law, that any court that disrupts that or disobeys that or goes the other way from that is not a court at all.
Yeah, they're not courts.
I mean, this man's personally been accused of treason.
And why do you think they don't want video? They can't let people see what goes on in courts. They can't have that shit on the record. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's absolutely insane. Just the fact that the courts will not let people, the public, film them should be all that's needed for people to wake up.
It's a huge red flag, but yeah, you're right. People, there's a reason that they brainwashed all of us for at least 12,000 hours.
Yeah.
So if you can't accept that happened, if you can't accept that they fucking tried to make you sympathetic to the fucking worthless government.
Oh, it worked for me, man. They got me. They got me. I'm paying taxes and everything, man, like a fool. It never made sense to me either. But it's crazy, man.
Are you
Well,
paying?
you know,
I mean, I don't want to ask, but
my objection to taxes is what they spend the money on. They spend the money on brainwashing our children, killing goat herders, and itinerant Bedouins, man. People that just move from place to place. They're nomads. We're killing these people that have not done anything to us. They can't prove that they've done anything to us. All they do is they say, well, weapons of mass destruction, terrorists, blah, blah, blah. And then they send our troops over there to guard the fucking poppy fields for the Taliban. Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm not going to fund that.
Business.
Yeah, I'm not going to fund that. So every time I get a job and I have to fill out a thing, I write exempt and I put down 0. And if they have anything to say about it, I say, look, man, first of all, it's none of your business how I file. Your business is to take care of my payroll.
Well, truthfully, you shouldn't speak to them at all. Invoke your fifth and just.
Yeah, it's none of the employer's business how I file.
Well, right, and then if the IRS wants to audit you or something, then you have a Fifth Amendment not to produce any evidence that will be used to incriminate you.
Yeah, they're never going to come after me because I've never made enough money for them to come after me. It wasn't paid.
I specifically don't make money so that I don't have to pay taxes because I won't contribute to these people. I hate their goddamn guts. I hate their kids. I hate their kids.
It's generational, man, and you're right about that. And Dave's got a point, man. We pay our taxes. We're guilty of treason, man, for paying taxes. Taxes are treason.
Yeah.
First of all, it's a crime against us, and then it's a crime that we commit against our fellow American by financing this fucking socialist, United Socialist States or Soviet America. United Socialist Soviet States of America. USSSA is what we're living in, man. And it's, anyway, I'm going to shut up because I can ramble.
Yeah. So they picked you up. You started yelling at him in the car, right? The cop. That's where you were last at.
Oh, I let him have it, bro. Just like, I told him everything that he was doing, and then I was like, bro, I'm just a man. What are you gonna do when God starts questioning you about what you've been doing here? You fucking goddamn scumbag. I mean, straight up, like, bro, you are going to have to answer for what you've done, and it's not good. Nothing about it's good. So,
no,
I got to the jail.
Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. Go
And
ahead.
this pig was like, have fun in jail, right?
Wow, man.
And then they tried to kill me. So this officer, this state patrol officer, I'm charging the motherfucker with crimes, felony crimes. I want the goddamn pig in jail. I want his family put on their knees and shot in the head. Literally. That's what I want. So, they're all guilty of treason. Anyone that would support a pig deserves to have their head cut off and their children executed. It's just it's the law, man. I didn't make this shit up. I don't know why. Dude, bro, everyone's like, you're such a bad guy because of the law, because you're invoking the law. And it's just like, dude, what the hell? We're all the courts.
We live in clown world, man. It's clown world.
Yeah, we do. It's an open air asylum. It really is. The publicly educated are such fucking disgusting pieces of shit that they're basically terrorists, essentially. Where they're just like, oh, well, a guy had a costume. That means you're wrong. I mean, swear to God, man, the American people are fucking pigs. Most Americans will burn in hell for all eternity. That's true. And when Christ comes back, he's going to fucking kill so goddamn many people. It's going to blow your mind. It'll be like 99% of the American populace that is just put to death. He's coming back with a flaming sword. Oh, Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you. Yeah, fuck that. He's coming back to kill your ass.
Yep, he's coming back to clean house.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Like these people, they don't because they don't have any moral compass. But I guarantee you that a lot of them claim that they're Christians, but we know that they're not. They're the dogs that Paul talks about in Philippians when he's talking about false brethren. They're beware the dogs.
Yeah.
And
Christ will say, "I know you not. I
Yep,
know you not, you pig."
Yep. You're lukewarm. I'm going to spit you out.
Christ identified himself. I am the truth, the way, and the life, and no man will get to the Father but through me.
That's right.
So if
That's
you're not
right.
following the truth, like such as the drug wars, open treason, you're going to hell. You're going to burn in hell for all eternity. I don't give a shit what your fucking priest says. Because he's a scumbag. He's going to hell anyway. These priests are fucking disgusting. And all these bishops, I'm from a Mormon type community. Bro, Mormons are they're as disgusting as Catholics. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, you made a really deft comparison between the Mormon Church and the Catholic Church, and you're right, man, because the Mormons have their graven images, and so do the Catholics.
Yeah.
And they
Mormons are Catholics. They were created through the Masonic Lodge. Joseph Smith, bro,
Yep.
he had like 25 fucking wives, a bunch of them underage. He ended up killing a man. Which, bro, be wise as a serpent, but harmless as a, what is it? A doe or some shit. I don't know. But that's the point, is that, he was accused of crime, Joseph Smith. Scumbag. Mason, though. Freemasonry is finding mud flood buildings. That's what it is. You find buildings and you move into them and you pretend like your family built that or some shit. So
Yeah.
that's what it is with the Mormon Church, the Mormon Temple in Salt Lake, where it was already there. They
Yeah.
moved in and they were
Yeah.
like, "We built this in 5 months."
Out of plaster.
Out of plaster. Yeah, it was just we showed up in our wagons and we just fucking we dug 5 stories deep and then we yeah, sure, okay.
it's amazing that and even myself, I mean, like, there's evidence, that other cultures were here long before us, and probably shortly after, maybe even before the American Indians came across the Bering Strait. The frozen part.
Hey, what
of,
a stupid story.
Well,
yeah, there was people here, but all they did was build wigwams and fucking like pooping fires.
Yeah, we know.
And, like,
Yeah, we know that's not right. We know that's not correct. We know that's not correct. We know there were people here after them, before modern day, before the Common Era.
Well, we've seen Roman style architecture, Greco maybe architecture, where it was like it's everywhere. Bro, your Capitol building is a Greco-Roman architecture. Your Capitol building.
Yeah, I need to see some.
No one built that.
I need to go back in the archives for Columbus and see if there's any pictures of that state building with horse-drawn carriages going around it. You know what I mean? What, people walking
Well,
by?
they didn't have film until 1870 or something.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, man. Obviously. Yeah, that's what I mean. But you're still going to be able to see a difference between the architecture, man, because the rest of the
Oh, bro.
are going to look primitive.
When you start looking at old video footage, you're going to realize there's a lot of problems with everything. Dude, the volcano footage back in the 50s was fucking stupid. The moon landings, that shit sucks. I mean, come on. Dude, it's fake. Stupid. Like, as far as, like, gorillas and stuff like that, the video footage of them is totally insane. Like, you wouldn't even recognize them as gorillas. You'd be like, what the hell is wrong with their fur? That's because they didn't have good monkey suits back then. Seriously, when you go back to, like, some early footage of anything that these people are just like, oh, it's as true as volcanoes, because they're full of shit about everything. Just like this judge. Do you remember the part in the video of the second hearing, which is the first one when I was free, where he said I couldn't have a gun.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro,
Yep.
the Supremacy Clause bounds you to the Constitution. This is public property. That means I have a right to keep and bear arms, Second Amendment. And he didn't even understand it.
No, he didn't understand much. He's a toddler.
He's like
He's a toddler.
Dude, they're part of the system, man. They're not. Some of them gotta know what they're doing, bro. They know what they're
Well,
doing. They're not.
I was going into law, and I realized that all this shit was criminal activity really early on. Bro, before I even declared for my intended major of law, I realized, like, holy crap, all this shit is bunk. So yeah, by the time you get to law school, if you don't know that the entire law is just some fraudulent bullshit, then you've got to be seriously retarded. You really do. And that, bro, it's so common. It's so common to be retarded that.
Dude, they're all bound to the Bar Association, aren't they?
No, they're bound to the laws of the United States under
No,
the
but
Supremacy Clause.
But they're operating under the jurisdiction of the bar, so the bar is
Doesn't
going to tell
matter.
them, right? But they don't give a shit. I'm saying they don't care.
So what? You're saying
Yeah.
it matters if they care? Bro, I
No.
arrested the judge. He was lawfully arrested. I
Twice
lawfully
even.
No, just the once. And then later I arrested the prosecution. We don't have that audio yet. It's fucked up. I just recorded, audio because I couldn't get away with video, which, it's not that it's the law. I have a right to press. It's just that this fucking pig and everybody below him is a soulless demon. They'll do anything the judge tells them to.
Hmm.
They think I can be seized without a warrant. They think that I can be seized without a complainant. They think that a memo, essentially this warrant, right, is what it actually was, is just a memo from the judge to the cops. And he signed it. It doesn't mean anything. It was a memo. It's not a warrant. I wasn't seized on a warrant. I was seized on essentially a memo that a judge signed, and then somebody wrote warrant at the top of it, probably the judge. And guess what? I'm charging him with counterfeiting a warrant.
Right on, man. Right on. If he's, the paperwork, they'll be the first ones to say your paperwork's not in order, but then they don't do it correctly. They do it illegally, in fact.
It's not going to matter.
Unbelievable.
I'm going to
Right.
I mean, I have 100. Honestly, I have 1,000 ways to beat these people. I have too many ways to beat these people. That's the only problem for me. You guys are like, articulable or reasonable. Okay, but for me, I'm like, no, I know enough actual laws where I actually know so much that I have too many fucking options. I have just too many. There's too many.
So you ought to make a dartboard and throw a dart and see which one you're going to use, huh?
Well, I'm just going to use ChatGPT to file as many motions. So, I have a motions hearing that I need to file for. I need to request it, okay? A motions hearing. And then,
Jonesy.
thanks for showing up, bro. And then I need to include everything. Everything. One thing I was looking over at is that they had my name in all caps lock, and they made me agree that that was my name. Well, my glasses were dirty. I was in jail. Anything I say in custody is under duress anyway. So
Absolutely.
it doesn't matter what I agree to while I'm in jail. You've got me seized. I've been seized without a warrant. You can't get a warrant unless there's an injured complainant. There is no injured complainant.
So you
And
got
that's
you got plenty of grounds for 242s this time, huh? I mean,
Where are you
always
going to
have,
take it? Where are you going to file those?
I mean, there's grounds for everything at this point. I have grounds for appeal, for one thing, for my constitutional rights violations. Another thing is this judge isn't even a judge anymore. He's been accused and arrested of treason. Another thing is that I've been violated of my constitutional rights, things like freedom of press, because remember he threatened me. Okay. Also, that gives me a state charge of disorderly conduct on the judge, which, yeah, I need to get that filed. You always want to get your two sets in order.
Oh.
A federal criminal complaint and a state criminal complaint.
The name he used for these guys is chancellor. A chancellor is a senior state or legal official. That's what we're dealing with.
What?
Chancellors. That guy in that video, he said that they're not judges, they're chancellors.
Right, which is a
Look, man,
that's a
the
title
guy-
of royalty.
The
isn't
guy
it?
told me he is a judge. Okay? So I'm just
So he's
gonna go
guilty
on
of
that.
fraud on top of all else.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't know if I'd take it to that.
Oh yeah, he's fraud. Otherwise,
Oh, well, yeah, he's a fraud, but I'm not saying for those grounds. I don't agree with your grounds. Yeah, he's defrauding the American people. Of course he is. But, like, I'm just saying, as far as this chancellor title or whatever, I don't see a legal bearing here. He says he's a judge.
well, it's fraud. Like he's acting in a fraudulent manner. He's acting like he's a judge, isn't he? And he's not. That's fraud, man.
Yeah, I think that America is the harlot. It's definitely fraud, David, but it's not because he's a chancellor. It's because the Supremacy Clause, Article 6, binds this man to the Constitution and the laws of the United States, including things like treason and things like, deprivation of rights under color law, conspiracy against rights, no extortion. Yeah, don't be doing any of that. Don't be attempting to commit murder. None of that stuff. He's bound. He's bound. So he doesn't have a choice. He pretends like he does. But you got to understand, he doesn't. And now, yeah, Brick, we see you. Now he's saying, I'm going to, be a magistrate? Even though, listen, my last recording, which is not uploaded yet, was of me arresting the prosecutors. I arrested the prosecutors for treason. Doc, do you need to approve this guy's request or something?
Hold on a second. Oh, he's in private.
Yeah, put him in.
Yeah, sorry, man. Let me get you a link. I wasn't looking at private because I'm recording in OBS.
Oh.
And, yeah, I probably should have been paying better attention, but yeah, here you go, man. It's either on time or it's not. Sorry, man. You gotta post in comments. It's all fine to do it in comments, and nobody here cares. But we'll see it there quicker because it's at the top. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't see anything, but yeah.
Right.
should-
I'm hosting the studio. Yeah.
Okay, so what I was saying all falls under Article 6, Supremacy Clause. The judges are bound. They're bound. So he's over here acting as a judge. Now, I'll agree, he's not really a judge. He doesn't do anything that's judgely. He doesn't enforce my rights. He's not an impartial observer. Why would he be trying to take my recording device if he was impartial?
Right.
I mean, honestly, what he's doing is he's taking part in crimes against me. Specifically, I have a Fourth Amendment right to be secure in my property. Specifically, I have a First Amendment right to freedom of press. I'm securing my devices. I mean, the judge tried to say, "Oh, well, you can't have a gun, can you?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually, you can. It's the Second Amendment. This is public property. These people are bound to this stuff. But as long as we're just going to pretend like, oh, there's a sign that says this. then it's gonna be this. Where's Brick at? Why isn't he in?
I don't know. He's impatient, man. He's impatient, and
Well, you know,
I'm not gonna say any more about that because we need him. We need each other, man. You know, but we got to show a little bit of fucking patience and a little bit of forbearance and a little bit of fucking politeness and a little bit of, you know, being kind to each other. But a lot of people miss that point.
Yeah, we're not experts at this stuff. We're just trying to tell you some things.
I'm just talking about base level, you know, patience, man. Patience.
Well, everyone's pissed. Everyone's fucking pissed. And I like it. Bro, I like it. Everyone should be pissed.
Well, but
this is bullshit. And you know what? When people start talking and they won't let you talk and stuff like that, why is that? It's because they don't want to try and beat you. Bro, Brick, you can come on. If you have a point to make against me, then we'll discuss it. If you have a point to make for us, then we'll discuss it. It's not a problem. You can disagree. You can call me a bitch. You can... Bro, that's not the problem. You need to have a point, though. I want you to have a point. You goddamn well better have a point, and then it needs to be... You're going to have to at least back it up with something. Some sort of fucking law that falls under maybe like the Supremacy Clause, so that we know it's the law of the land. We need to know that.
Oh, hey, Kennedy, what's the next step now? Do you have another date to go in there?
Yeah. It's in this audio file that we don't want to publish.
It's
so
in September, right? September?
Wow. Yeah, it's September. And that's when we're going to do trial. And between here and then, we've got a couple of tasks. One, I have to get the discovery. Discovery is all evidence, both for you. He says
Rick just said he's in both links. I don't know what that means.
Well, hold on.
Sorry.
No, there he is. Okay, we got two Bricks Jonesies. Turn one of them off. All right, there you go. Here he is. Sorry, man. I was rolling the smoke and I'm recording in full screen. So, welcome to the show.
What's up, man?
Hey, Brick.
So, yeah, no, I appreciate you letting me up. Jack Boot. That's, I'm assuming who this is.
Yeah,
Doc
well,
Savage, Jack Boot. You changed your name. I see that.
Yeah, I changed because my stance has changed. You know, I've come out from under the OTVO thing.
I can appreciate that. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna beat you up or anything. I do have a couple of questions as to you guys' view. I know Kennedy Walker is the one who really has kind of presented the view, and then you've accepted it. And I'm not going to beat you up. Like I said, that's not my intent here. I'm not into using ad hominems. I'm definitely about making serious points, and that's the questions I have.
Yeah, hold on just a second, man, because I just want to tell you that, you know, nobody that comes on here ever has to justify why they're here or thank me, because I'll let anybody come on who wants to come on. My channel is always open. I'm not going to tell Kennedy or Dave or Jonesy or what's the matter you or anybody that they can't come on and that they can only talk about this or that. That would be completely counter to what I believe and to what I practice, which is truth, way, and life. You know, and truth, we get truth from each other by being candid. So, welcome to the show, man. But you know, you don't have to justify yourself, bro.
Cool, man. I appreciate that. So there's one specific question that I think matters more than any other in all of this, whether, you know, you believe this way or that way. Primarily, do you believe that we as a people can affect change?
Absolutely.
How about you, Kennedy?
Well, the answer is certainly, but it's always going to be about how much extent you're willing to go to. And I personally feel that right now the extent that needs to be gone to is invoking your rights, making it clear that you're an injured complainant, you're swearing statement of damages against this person for this crime, and assumedly you know what you're talking about, and this crime, maybe it falls under the Supremacy Clause, which is Article 6. Hopefully it's going to be, pretty clear where you can summarize it in just a few sentences, because, that's all the people can deal with. These juries, they're not great. They're not great, but I'm charged with a crime that carries 10 years right now. And I'm almost certain that even if all my procedural law fails, once I talk to the jury and explain to them that these people think they own our own children, you're only on jury duty because you agreed to put up with these unconstitutional signs saying that you can't have a recording device. Didn't they strip you of your phone? Because they did. I went to jury service. So listen, they stripped you of your phone, right? And you have a right to your property.
It's friggin' slavery anyway. How much do they compensate? How much do they compensate those people for? Like nothing, right?
Yeah,
it's
like $13.
terrible.
Yeah, it's
All
like
right.
$13 a day or something.
That's crazy, bro.
So the simple answer is yes, you do believe that we as a people, as a group of people, we call ourselves Americans, we can affect a change. So
Absolutely.
in that, I have a secondary follow question, which is, what's more important, saving someone's life or saving someone's money?
Well, really, for each individual, all you can care about is you. And that's
Okay.
an ethical philosophy. It's a concept.
So that I'm not asking about what you can do for yourself. What's important? What's more important? Saving someone's life, their well-being as in their life, or their well-being as in their money, their stuff? What's more important?
Well, I don't see money anywhere in Way, Truth, and Life.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no money in that. So, it's all about...
It's the same thing.
Well,
Depriving you of your property rights is the same thing as depriving you of your right to feed your family. It's the same thing as taking the money out of your pocket. It's the same thing. It's all oppression. So.
Yeah, but if you save a person's life, that means that you're saving them from being killed by the system, caged by the system, and all of financial ruin comes behind both of those things. So if you're saving
All right,
somebody
all right.
from,
I don't need a diatribe. Okay, I want to know what's more important: the cops taking your money, or the cops putting their hands on you. Which one is worse?
Well, one is right to be secure in your person. One is the right to be secure in your property, and both are Fourth Amendment violations. They carry prison.
Yeah,
time.
but he said, but basically, if you were to say, if someone said your money or your life, what would you choose? Your life.
I'm choosing life.
Yeah.
Well, life is
All right.
life is instantaneous, right? Like they're gonna kill you, and so that's why you choose it. But as far as taking your money, they are taking your life. It's that you have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and the way that you are going to go about that is acquiring funds, acquiring property, acquiring security.
Yep.
So it's honestly it's the same thing, and that's why it's the same charge: deprivation of rights.
It's not
under
the same
color of
thing.
law.
It's not the same thing.
They're both deprivation of rights under color of law.
It doesn't matter. Okay, so what you're talking about are American rights. What I'm talking about is your right to life versus it's two different things versus your right to your property. Which one's more important?
It's irrelevant. Make a point, bro.
It's not irrelevant.
It is.
So now my point is irrelevant. You know what I'm talking
about.
about.
It is. Make
you know
a
what
point.
I'm talking about.
No, actually, I have
You know
no
what
idea.
I'm talking about. What I'm talking about
They're
is
both
why.
crimes.
Why?
We just gotta arrest. We gotta arrest
Why
both of them. So what's the difference?
Well,
They
we have
both
to make
need
a
to go to
choice.
jail.
We have to make
No,
a choice
you
as to
don't.
which one's more important.
No,
we have to make a
both of them.
choice. Which
Both
one
of
is
them.
more important?
No,
You don't want to
arrest
make a
them
choice.
both.
You
Why
want?
would you? They're both crimes. You arrest them both. They're both criminals. It means nothing.
How are you going to do that if you can't even walk into the courtroom?
Yeah.
If you
How do you
can't
do that
even,
when you don't have the ability to do that? Because every time you walk into the courtroom, they grab you under color of law. How do you
Okay.
do that?
They're not grabbing you under color of law. You have a
Oh,
right
yes,
to be
they
secure
are.
your
It's called
person.
Terry versus
No,
Ohio.
they're
They
not.
But
have
you're not.
policies
But
and
you're not.
statutes. And statutes. And statutes. In the state of Florida,
No.
they have statutes that follow
No.
the case law.
Doc,
You might
bring
not
up the
believe
Supreme.
it, but you need to look up the law, bud.
Doc,
That's why
bring
I
up.
told you I don't
Bring
do this for free.
Doc,
I don't do
bring
this
up
for
the
free,
Constitution
okay?
of the
They
United
have actual
States
statutes that
Supremacy
follow
Clause.
the case law, but you don't want to shut up long enough to learn it. You want to talk over everybody. That's
You
what
mean
you do.
case
You've been doing it
precedent?
since the beginning. You started
Yeah.
on this diatribe of
All right,
garbage
shut this
about some
faggot up.
supremacy clause.
Shut him
So
up.
bye. Good luck with
Listen.
your supremacy
Yeah,
clause.
shut him
Doofus.
up. Shut him up.
Good luck with your
Yeah,
supremacy
it-
clause.
Shut up.
Doofus.
Shut up. You're retarded.
It
You
becomes
can't
clear.
even.
Yeah, see, it
Doc,
becomes
let
clear
me
that
talk. Let me
all he
talk.
wants to do is fight.
Yeah.
So,
Listen, he doesn't understand the Supremacy Clause of the United States Constitution, so he's a moron. He can't understand laws. And that's so common. That's so common in America that it's basically it's
Kennedy,
just laughable.
Kennedy,
It's a
I'm sure
joke.
he understands the supremacy clause.
No, he doesn't. He's a fucking publicly educated piece of shit. He couldn't even make a point. He didn't cite one law. He cited case law.
case law is not something that is. Yeah, the supremacy clause
Yeah.
trumps all that, man.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with
Bro, the judiciary doesn't even make laws. So this man is literally so fucking dumb he has no business speaking on the topic. Quite
Yeah, like-
literally.
Terry versus Ohio has nothing to do.
Yeah, there's
With
no
law.
legal bounding to listen. The courts are bound to the laws, not
Kennedy.
to case precedent.
you. Kennedy, you definitely gonna have a jury trial.
No, I'm not.
It
It'll
won't
be
get that far. It'll get
what
that
it
far
is
before
we
that
got
happens.
motions, okay?
Yeah.
And it's gonna be dismissed.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it'll get dismissed before September.
Yeah, okay.
I guarantee you that.
Yeah,
I mean, what,
I
they don't
get
have
that.
any fucking. They don't have any fucking evidence. If the warrant is based on all the activity that went on at the farmers market that we can watch in the video, guess what?
Mm.
There's no evidence. They have no evidence because that video is
even if
uncut.
even if they did, it really wouldn't matter. I don't think what he did was unlawful.
It wasn't. Well, it wouldn't
no, what-
matter because,
what they did.
for one thing, they can't search.
Right.
So if they searched and found evidence, then guess what I can do with that evidence? Suppress it.
Yeah, it's true to the poison
So,
tree without a
so
warrant.
the motions that you file, they end up in the record. Is that right? Okay. Yeah. I got you. Yeah. That's cool. I got you. Yeah.
I mean,
Is it-
citing. It's the thing is that citing case law means that you're clueless. It literally it means that you can't even figure out 5th grade social studies, where Congress makes laws, not the judiciary.
Right,
It's called
it's-
checks and balances.
Yeah,
Because-
it's Civics 101, man. It really is. It's Civics 101. We have 3 branches of government: executive, judicial, and legislative. Executive branch makes policies for government employees only. Judicial branch makes legal decisions, opinions, and rulings. Nothing else. Nothing else. And then we got the legislature, and all they're supposed to do is make laws. That's their only job. Their job isn't to take money from lobbyists.
Yeah.
Their job
That-
isn't to go on all these junkets.
There is one thing the courts could do that you didn't mention, and that is they can find a law unconstitutional. But guess what? You
They're not
can't
gonna do
find my First Amendment freedom of press unconstitutional. You can't find my Second Amendment right to bear arms unconstitutional. You can't
Exactly.
find my Fourth Amendment right to be secure in my person's house's papers and effects unconstitutional and say Terry v. Ohio is the new law. Because it's not. It's case precedent. Judiciary doesn't make laws. This is basic civics and Bro, people like Brick, they're out here fighting this unwinnable battle. They're marching into the desert to die, like Doc says, where they have no way to beat the enemy. I don't hate this idiot. I feel bad for him. Like, I feel like, bro, you are in jeopardy because you're so confused.
Every single auditor is, and I think a lot of them don't realize it, but they should be getting a clue by now, all on their own.
Yeah.
If they're cognizant.
If they're legit, bro. Are they really legit? I don't
Well,
think so, man.
the courts convince us all the time that
Why?
the law doesn't exist.
Why have these guys not moved forward, man? This information is out there. Why is Freeman? Why is that piece of shit never doing a video on this?
He's
I mean,
a
come
comedian.
on.
He makes comedy videos, and that's
Yeah,
just-
he's an
I don't
entertainer,
know.
man. He's not like, okay, Brian and Home on the Range, they're both basically journalists. Okay, Home on the Range definitely is nothing but a journalist. He doesn't, he puts in his 2 cents here and there, but he's just presenting the information. He doesn't put any spin. Brian is starting to spin a little bit, which, anyway, it doesn't really matter. But, yeah, there are some auditors that are for real. I would say Professional Douche is definitely one of them. But, again,
You know what?
He's a performance artist.
One of Brian Young's recent videos was making a lot of sense, and I wonder if he's following us because, dude, he's been missing the mark for a lot of years now. I've been subscribed to him longer than anyone, probably 8 or 10 years, and I like him, but he's
a
always
good
coming
dude,
at
man.
things from like a moral point of view, whereas I'm like, dude, what are you talking? This is a legal issue. Come at it from a legal point of view, where you have citations in law. And that law, we need to be able to discern if it's a high law or if it's a low law that's subservient to other law. Because if it is, just like this drug war, this is a state charge. Bro, share your screen, Doc. Share your screen,
Yeah, where
or a Google search, either one. And I want you to ask it if mushrooms are illegal in Oregon.
Okay.
Because that's what I was charged with. I didn't make that clear. It was like a distribution of mushrooms or something, and then like possession of mushrooms. Yeah, share your screen, Doc. I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, I'm working on it, man. You asked me pretty quick, and you spun my head a little bit there, but that's okay.
Shit.
Share screen. Man, you guys are both in terrible shape today. I'm over here roasting. You're sick, and Kennedy's hobbled from sleeping on the fucking concrete. Why will it not let me? Bullshit. All right, here we go. Oregon voters approved Measure 109 in 2020. The original Oregon Psilocybin Services Act is the first law in the United States that establishes a regulatory framework for receiving psilocybin, also known as psychedelic mushrooms. Okay, it does say that you need a license here, but this is from 2023, and I think they just changed it. Yeah, here it is. Can you see that?
No.
You're not seeing my screen? Oh, I gotta share it. I'm such a dumbass. There we go. Now you can see it.
No, I just hear it.
Okay.
Oh, what's going on?
That one needs to go. Yeah, that needs to go. Present. Share
That's our
screen.
audio file. It's so bad that I don't even want to show you guys. But I did
That's
something
terrible.
epic. I was pretty fucking phased out at the time, actually.
There you go.
However, Go back to the Google results, would you? Okay. You said, are magic mushrooms illegal in Oregon? And it says, Oregon launches legal psilocybin access. Legal use of hallucinogenic mushrooms begins in Oregon. Oregon's legal psilocybin clinics draw hundreds. Magic mushrooms seizures are up in Oregon. So, okay, so in 2020, the state legislature, that's our Congress in the state, okay? And then they passed a thing for use of medicinal mushrooms. But here's what the problem with that is. It's the same problem with medicinal marijuana. Is
Freedom of religion.
It is your freedom of religion, especially because it's in Genesis 1:29 for marijuana.
Yeah.
And then mushrooms are, they're not labeled as something else in your Bible. So that means, or even, it doesn't matter what the Bible says. You have a freedom to your religion. It doesn't have to be the Bible. Yeah. But weed is certainly protected because it's obviously just in the Bible. Genesis 1:29. However, mushrooms are a similar, it's that you believe in mushroom, or at least experimenting, deciding for yourself, you believe in something concerning them, right? That's your religion. It's your beliefs. Okay, so in prisons, bro, a lot of people might not know this. In prisons, there are Native Americans that'll say to the cops, give me some peyote so I can go and smoke it with my friends. And they'll do it. They'll do it. Because it's their freedom of religion, dude. It's their freedom of religion. In prisons, they'll give them peyote in a pipe and have them go and smoke out in the rec yard with their friends. Literally. And yet out here, not even in prison, they're trying to say, oh, we got to check your butthole in case you got a mushroom in there. Like, it is crazy. So the whole thing, it's protected. And you know what? Other people would not talk about this. I have an ongoing case, right? And I'm go ahead and provide information about it. Yeah, that's a bad idea for you guys, but for me, first off, I don't care. Second off, you're not going to beat me under any circumstances ever. And the reason is that just procedurally, I can't be charged. What are you talking about? We have procedures in this country. That's why all of this... Okay, they got me to agree that my name was an all caps name. And I didn't even realize it at the time. My glasses were all dirty. I could barely even see. I thought that maybe it was my name. But looking over the documents, once I cleaned my glasses and stuff, I realized it was an all caps name. And that's probably something I need to address. Anything I said under their custody is just...
It's under duress. So,
that makes sense, dude.
Yeah, it's fruit of the poisonous tree.
Yeah, you can't clean your glasses in the jail because you don't have soap, you don't have water. Dude, it's ridiculous. Especially intake, Once you get in, then yeah, you got access to showers and things like that. But
I honestly, I don't know how these people sleep at night, man. I don't get it.
Oh man, they're NPCs, big time.
Yeah, man. As soon as they go out of our vision, they cease to exist. They do not even exist as human beings on this earth, man, because that's, they've chosen to be these, demoniac golems that just run around doing whatever their criminal masters tell them to do. They're socialist crap golems is what they are. They're like as soon as they, it's just like on Star Trek. As soon as they go through that sliding door, there's nothing behind it. It's just that it looks like that. You know, it's all facade, bro. It's these people are just extras walking on and off a set. That's all they are.
It's true. It is true.
I mean, seriously, dude. Once they're out of the line of sight of a real human being, they don't exist anymore.
Let me see if I can explain it. This state trooper that arrested me, when I was talking a bunch of shit to him, the whole ride to the jail is like 20, 30 minutes. So I was talking a lot of shit, right? And you know what he had to say in response? That's what he said. With
Nothing.
his hand.
Hey, Kennedy.
No, with his hand, he did
Kennedy.
this.
Kennedy.
He thinks it's weird that I have thoughts. He thinks it's weird that there's something going through my head.
Kennedy, can you try to work on being a little bit more maybe gentle with? I mean, listen.
No. Wait, hold on a second.
Just listen. Just hold on. Let me just say this.
Okay.
Rather than being able to educate him correctly, he got chased away.
Yeah,
And
I already gave him the citations in chat before.
No, I
So
know.
he
but what I'm
didn't. He chose not to look it up, and now he thinks he's a victim. And bro, that's fine with me. There's a place for people like that. It's prison. And unfortunately,
But hang on, but dude, he feels like he's correct.
in what?
He
Case
feels like-
law?
Right,
Case
right.
law? It's not
Yeah.
law.
Wait, Kennedy, just listen, bro. If you want
I
to
already told
become,
him though.
if you want to become more powerful, dude, we can become more powerful, but not if you're going to scare people away. They're not going to even want to be able to talk.
I don't care.
You could-
They're all scared pussies anyway. That's why nobody else is standing up to these people. Who cares? Man, dude, I don't care about these people. They can choose to stand under whatever stupid shit they want, like case precedent. They can call it law and everything. I don't care what happens to them. It doesn't mean anything to me. Bro, it's your responsibility. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. So if you're going to show up and pretend like case precedent made by judges is now a law, then fuck you. Like, bro, I already gave him the citations. He doesn't want to know anything. It's common. That's why at my trial, I'm completely alone and nobody's saying, hey, wait a second. You literally call it a drug war and you're saying it's not treason? Of course it's treason. You call it a drug war. I mean, shit, man. At least at some point you got smarter and you just started calling it CPS, child protection. You started calling it fucking smart things, right? But before, bro, you called it a literal drug war.
Kennedy, everybody's at different levels on the path, man. And I know, listen, I know, but I'm just saying that I think it might at some point, I'm listening. Listen, you got me. I'm comfortable with what you're doing. I get it, and you're right. I don't. In this particular instance, or I guess in all instances, all you got to do is cite this shit before any trial, and they don't have anywhere to go, man. They're cooked, right? I mean, it can't go on the record. They can't put this on the record, and otherwise they're violating the law. So it took me a little while to kind of agree with you on that, I think, and
right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm going to have a little say on this too. Listen, Jonesy came in here looking to fight. He didn't come in to have a conversation. He came in with the intention to fight.
Bro, I will fight. I'm fine with that.
Right.
I'm not fine with someone just jacking their goddamn jaw instead. Bro, if you want a response to your thing, let's do it. But that's a different thing. Sorry for interrupting.
Well, he went straight to the ad hominem before he went off, and then he went to the ad hominem in the chat.
I don't care about that either.
No, I'm just having my say, man. Look, people are going to be resistant to this because human beings want shit to be complicated.
Good. Let's fight. Brick, come back in here. Let's have a proper fight. And don't be, dude, come on. Like, dude, don't talk over me and shit like that. Let's have a proper fight about this and to actually get to the bottom of it. I don't have a problem with that. Come back. You're not banned.
No,
Come
it's
and
not
fight.
bad.
But let's have a real fight where it's like you say something, I say something. I'm going to cite the things I say. So you're
Okay,
kind of
if we're-
fucked.
if we're
You
gonna-
really don't want to fight with me. But
If Brick Jonesy comes back, we'll go on 3 minutes of speaker. How about that? And just to see if we can get anywhere with him.
sure.
Somebody tell Brick Jonesy to come on back. Tom, if you're still watching, please tell him to just come on back, because we'll listen. You know, we'll have a debate. We'll
Yeah,
have
and you
time
can call
to
me a
debate.
bitch. You can do every fucking thing you want in that 3 minutes. And then I got the 3 minutes after that. Okay, that's fine. Great. Perfect. Let's do it. It's honestly not debatable, man. It's in the
it's really not.
Constitution.
I mean,
The
we can-
supremacy
we can-
clause. Sorry.
Yeah, supremacy. Surely we can debate, decisions, rulings, and opinions and policies, and then we can debate law. We can debate those versus law or whatever. But the supremacy clause makes it all a pointless endeavor, because everything else has to be subservient to the Constitution. Period. End of story. Pull the plug. Drop the mic. Straight up. It's over with. But
Kennedy, you're on mute. Kennedy, you're on mute, bro.
What? Am I?
Oh.
he's not. No.
Oh, I didn't. I saw you talking. I wasn't hearing anything.
No,
No,
he
I
was.
wasn't.
Yeah, he was doing his catfish routine.
Oh,
Was I?
sorry about that.
Maybe
No,
I
no.
was. I don't know.
You do it sometimes, man. It's all right. Everybody is an individual. Yeah, case law is not law. Jeff Hates Pigs has got it absolutely right there. Case law is not law. It never made sense that a judge's decisions became law, because they
Right.
can't become law. they can't become law.
Yeah.
Congress could get an idea from the Supreme Court and say, yeah, maybe we should write a law about that. And then, when it's going through vetting, in the process that they go through, somebody says, well, this is, but clearly unconstitutional on its face. We can't do this.
Guys, I'm gonna back out, man. It's good chatting with you. I'm glad you're all good too.
All right, yeah, you get better, man. Get you some honey.
Yeah.
Get you some sage. Make some tea with the sage, dude. It tastes like shit, but it'll get rid of that pain better than aspirin.
Okay.
I would say sleep in calories. Keep them up.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right,
Cool.
later, man.
All right, see you
Thanks
guys.
for coming.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, anybody wants to come in, come in. Rick Jones, you want to come back and scrap a little bit and have a debate? Cool. I don't know, man. Him and some other people, they really dig this whole esoteric approach to the law, and it doesn't make any sense.
This case says this over here, and this case says this over here.
Yeah,
Bro, we have a law. It's written down. Everyone in the United States agreed to it.
You know what?
And
it's
now
like?
you're wanting to say that some idiot on a bench said, "Oh, now it's this." Bro, we just saw what idiots on benches do. They violate their oaths. They
commit crimes all day.
They commit treason. And then the cops show up. They'll commit treason. Like, come on, man. And then the feds, who knows? Were they even contacted? Who goddamn knows, right? Because they're all just committing treason at every goddamn level of it. All socialists are just it's the rank of a human being. It's the scale of what they believe they are. And instead of becoming farmers, which are producers, right?
Right, useful people.
They decided that they were going to fucking shoot people on the side of the road in Afghanistan, or they decided to fucking be at war with the American people in the drug war, which, bro, this shit's textbook treason. I'm not that creative. I don't know if people think I am. They must think I am pretty creative, but I'm not. This is textbook treason. These aren't debatable. It's not. You can
No,
look
it's
it
not.
up
It's not
and-
debatable. It's 18 USC 2381, correct? Treason.
Read
Right?
it. Put it on the screen. Let me be right back and read
Okay.
it. So.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so what we got here is 18 USC 2381, treason. Whoever owing allegiance to the United States levies war against them or adheres to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere is guilty of treason shall suffer death or shall be imprisoned not less than 5 years and fined under this title, but not less than $10,000, and shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. So that's a pretty stiff penalty, man, even if you don't get a death spec. But since we're at war, we would have to find that section where it talks about during time of war. Man, treason's very serious, very, very serious. It's a thing, and it, during time of war, it requires no trial. It only requires arrest and an immediate execution of sentence, which, of course, during time of war is execution. You don't get 5 years in prison during time of war. It's immediate death sentence. We need to find that part of it.
Did you put it on the screen?
I put it up there and read it and talked about it for a second. We need to find out where it says during time of war. That's what we need to find out.
Oh, okay. Well,
so treason penalties during time of war.
All right. Hold on. Just a second. I'm gonna be back in a minute.
Okay, it doesn't necessarily say that it's an immediate death sentence during time of war, but I would say that the majority of people would probably agree that treason during a time of war should be a death sentence. And since there's no requirement for a trial, then we'll go with what we know. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am not, I'm not for executing these people unless they really, really deserve it. They need to be repurposed. They need to be converted into garbage men or ditch diggers or people that, go around and empty the trash cans around the town square and sweep the sidewalk and make sure the gutter's clean and sweep up all the cigarettes behind the people. Make them street cleaners, public street cleaners, and run them 24/7. 24/7. Pay them a wage. It's not going to be anything outstanding, but man, you're a public servant, yeah, but you're working for a private company cleaning the streets now. But you're still serving the public, you piece of crap. We know you're a traitor. That's why you're doing this. But anyway, man, look, I'm not for executions. Use Chat GTP, you say. Okay, well that's an idea, why not? Let's see, Chat GPT. Okay, so what am I going to ask him about?
Okay, where are we at?
Well, I'm looking at Jeff Hates Pigs says to try Chat GPT with this question.
Yeah, let's ask it.
Okay.
Share your screen. Do you have an account already with them? Maybe you might need to sign up, so you might want to do that without sharing screen.
I think I can log in. See, man, I can go with I can go in with Google.
Okay.
That seems to work really well. So it gives me access to all kinds of shit. Of course, because it's the socialist portal.
Well, is it?
Google is.
Listen,
definitely.
Every advancement comes from the free market. Regardless,
Absolutely.
If a person is paying through socialist means, like taxpayer funding, it's still the solution is still going to come from an engineer that you're agreeing to pay $75,000 a year to. It's
Right.
still going to come to that. because that's the only thing. That's the only thing that works in all of America. It's that they paid for their education, they worked on it, they spent time on it, and now you have to compensate them. They have to pay their student loans and all this other stupid shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. It wouldn't be stupid in a different climate, but
yeah,
it is
but
pretty
in this
stupid
one it is.
in this
Okay,
one.
so ChatGPT says basically the same thing that I do.
Share your screen.
And if I can, I think that what you call it, OBS.
You should share a tab though. Anyway, if you're on screen record with OBS, it'll share whatever going on in front of you.
How's that? Can you see it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's better.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing, but you know, I would say that during wartime, there should be fines surely against the estate. The estate should be forfeit. Whoever the traitor is, his entire estate should be forfeit. I would change that. You know, the fine of up to $10,000, and that's bullshit. Yeah, during wartime, I'd say imprisonment and fines are off the table.
You know what I'd say about that $10,000 is that it's scalable based on that year.
Right,
and
because
so
in whatever year they wrote it,
that's,
it's worth a lot more now.
Yeah, 150,000 at least, probably.
Well, we like you say, we'd have to scale it from the year that this code was written.
Yeah, people used to go to movies on 5 cents. So
right
now it's $14, $18. So it's just like holy crap.
And why is that? Because of the socialist. Our money is worthless. Yeah, our money is worthless because of the socialist. End of story. Drop the mic. That's it.
Oh yeah, paying a third of the economy plus all the war bills ends up being so much more than what you're taking home. That your tax rate is ridiculous, and they tax it at every point from then on. They'll tax your income, right? Or if you let them, and then they'll tax sales tax on everything, right? And then they'll put room and board fees on stuff. They'll put vice taxes on maybe cigarettes or alcohol.
Carbonation tax, which I always thought was bullshit.
And then there's gas tax, which I kind of like gas tax because the way it works makes a lot of sense. I'll be clear, we need to overturn all unconstitutional SCOTUS rulings. No, we don't. You don't need to overcome. They're not laws. Why would you have to overturn them? The law is that, say Terry v. Ohio. They're saying reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime. But what is the truth? That they can't seize you without a warrant. That's
Fourth
the
Amendment.
truth.
Fourth Amendment.
So unless the Fourth Amendment has been deemed unconstitutional by the courts, then they have nothing to talk about. But you can't deem the Fourth Amendment unconstitutional. I don't know if that's clear. It should be.
They can't. Yeah, and it's just like the Second Amendment. They can try to make laws against it, but we're going to do.
Well, it's a protection. It's a protection against them. So for them to be restricting your Second Amendment, what is that?
It's treason.
It's
It's
treason.
an act of war. Yeah, it's an act of war is what it is. Yeah, man, look, right, like, maybe I'll go through this again. There's the executive branch, which is the president. He makes policies for federal employees. The same thing could be said about a governor or a mayor. They're executives. They don't get to make laws. They make policies for the
employees,
for the national employees, for the state employees, and for the local public employees. Okay, they don't make laws. They don't make rulings, opinions, and decisions. They make policy. Okay. Then we have the judicial branch. These are the lawyers that become judges, theoretically, national, state, and local level. They're all the same. They can only make rulings, decisions, and opinions.
And
that's all.
Those are all bound to our law, to the
Absolutely.
U.S. law, which is first and foremost our amendments, and then federal law, and then if nothing violates that, then you can make other laws in your state or in your city. However, what we found is that states and cities can't make laws because they're not responsible. They violate the 14th Amendment control, which is Congress shall make no law abridging federally protected rights. So that means every time you have a state law that says that you are guilty if you go 10 miles over the speed limit or something like that, then it's a violation of things like your right to a Fourth Amendment. You can't be seized without a warrant. That warrant needs to be based on an injured complainant's sworn statement of damages. That's Fourth Amendment. Later on, that Fourth Amendment is in the Sixth Amendment, where it says you can face your accuser. So that same accuser from the Fourth Amendment, now we're facing them. And we're asking them things like, hey, what were your damages?
Right. Where's your sworn statement, first of all, to become
Well,
that person?
If they're there at all, then it's because they swore a statement of damages. And now you're going to have to ask them, were you
What
damaged?
damages? Yeah. How were you damaged? Yep.
Right.
Exactly. That's why, these cops can't be the complainants, man. They're in their official capacity. They
They're
can't
the
swear out
state.
statements.
Yeah,
They
they're
can't
the
swear
state.
out. Yeah,
They're-
right. The state.
Because if they quit their job that morning, then what? No crime was committed? And that's the point, is that this accuser doesn't have a face, and he doesn't have damages. You have a right to face your accuser. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's pretty damn basic. Yeah,
I
the
disagree
courts.
with you, Jeff. No, the courts are going to do what they do, but you know, that's why I arrested them. Because I'm going to do what I do too.
You don't have a remedy unless you use the remedy. The remedy's not going to apply itself. You have to apply it. A Band-Aid doesn't jump out of your first aid kit and go on on a wound, does it? No. You have to pick out the Band-Aid and put it on yourself. It doesn't do anything by itself. We have to stand
Jeff!
up for our rights.
Jeff, I feel like you are under the perception that I lost in some way. And that's not true. Like, I won in every way. In every single way, I won. And you're like, yeah, but they didn't recognize it. But that's not my choice. They are still, it doesn't change the fact. It doesn't change the fact that I lawfully arrested both a judge, and then you haven't heard the recording yet, but I also arrested the prosecutors the next day for treason, and then the judge, he's got a whole litany of crimes against him. Extortion to conspiracy to attempt murder, like everything.
Impersonating a public official.
That's a good one. Yeah, we need to start adding that to the list for sure. Because
especially if you accused him of treason. Once he's branded a traitor, he can no longer hold public office. He's done, man. Doesn't say anything about a trial.
We need to find that citation.
It doesn't say anything about a trial in the USC on treason. It says nothing about a trial. It just says you're guilty if you do such and such during a time of war.
Let me see if I can put it this way. Say you're in a war to defend your homeland, and there's these people attacking you. Do you need a warrant to seize them?
No. Nope.
Like, do you need a...
do you need a permission slip to blow them away when they're patrolling the town, beating people up?
Right.
No. Yeah.
No.
You don't need... Yeah, you don't need no warrant to shoot them. Yeah. If there were Chinese running the streets, look, here's what everybody needs to understand. we don't, right, the requirement for being at war is already been made, okay? That's already been made. We are at war with our government, or our government is at war with us. It doesn't take, dudes with slanty eyes called Yang in Chinese uniforms parachuting out of the sky for us to be at war. We're already at war. It's plain as day we're at war. Anybody that watches my Socialist Criminals miniseries, right, will see what I'm talking about is absolutely correct. They hate us. They hate America, and they hate
everyone
us.
knows it. Everyone knows it. At this point, there's millions of videos online showing that the public servant has nothing but disdain for us.
Yep.
They hate our goddamn guts. They do not believe that we feed their worthless children. They believe that they have real jobs, even though what they really are is socialists. National socialists. Nazis.
They're socialists.
They're Nazis.
And they're fucking parasites. Yeah, but socialism is just a willingness to be a criminal. That's all it is. It's you're willing to commit crimes against your fellow man in order to profit yourself and all the other socialists. There's not a good thing about socialized anything.
No.
Nothing that's socialist can work out. Nothing can work out.
From military, oh my God, what scumbag bullshit. We haven't declared a war since when? Do you know, Doc?
I would think that the Korean War, no, maybe not the Korean War. It's got to be World War II.
That was a police action.
Right, so it's got to be World War II.
Was it? What did Congress declare war?
Well, let me.
They might have.
Let me see.
Share your screen and show it. UN police action is what the Korean War was.
Right. Okay, let me share this. We'll all take a look at this and see. Yeah, that's a good point, Jeff. That's a really good point.
Seen almost all those videos knew what was up when Fox aired Cops. Do you remember that guy that narrated all those police videos where he was always just like, look at this violent criminal, when all he's doing is like driving his car? It was like, fuck man, what are you talking about? But you gotta understand, 85% of the population around you is just like, okay.
Yep, they're all very stupid. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so here's World War II Wikipedia.
And you
they're not going to talk about the Declaration.
Would you ask them? Would you ask in your question?
Yeah.
To Google?
Yeah. When was World War II officially declared? But it was declared in 1939 and in 1941. So we actually declared against Germany, and then we declared against the Japanese. Subsequently,
what?
Of course,
That doesn't make sense. The Japanese attacked us at Pearl Harbor. They should have been the first to receive a declaration.
No, we were.
Either way, I think that's the last declaration. If it's been one since then, what could it even be based on? It's all been nonsense.
Yeah, it's all been for proprietary gain. It's all for private industry gain, and for the people that are in government. Let's not get it twisted. They all make money when we have a war. They always do. Yeah. Yep. Cops. I consider Cops to be How to Get Away with It 101. Right? I watched just enough of Cops to learn what not to do when I was doing dirt when I was a kid. Seriously, I learned so much from that show. Make sure your taillights are always working.
You know what freaks me out is when people start talking to the cops and start admitting crimes.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
What the fuck country do you belong in? Because it's not this one.
Yeah, you don't ever admit anything to the cops, man. Like my grandfather, the scumbag lawyer, told me, he said, never talk to the cops, especially if you're innocent. especially if you're innocent. But never is the operative word. You know, like he doesn't say talk to the cops if you're guilty, because it's never going to, telling them shit is never going to help you. No matter how much they lie to you and say, you know, I just want to be your friend here, whatever. You know, those motherfuckers are lying from the second they wake up in the morning. You know, they wake up willing to lie and commit crimes against the American people.
Well, you know, I've been in sales for a pretty substantial part of my life, and you know, it's the same type of mentality in sales where it's just like, yeah, I told this dumbass this, and he gave me $1,000. You know, it's the same type of mentality, man. The average person is like a sickness, and then once you go through public education, holy crap, it's that you end up with no morality. All you can see is cops, costumes. You just end up being this fucking like
you're a zombie. You become an inconsequential player actor. That's all you are. You're another NPC. Yeah, you're another NPC, and once you disappear, look, here's how I look at it. If in my mind I see Greg or Chuck or Dave or anybody, you know, I see them as people. But the people that I meet through the day who don't matter to me, the clerk at the store or whatever, I don't remember their face. I don't think about them. I don't think about they're NPCs until they're in my personal life. They're fucking NPCs, period. You know, that's just how it is. But, you know, some people are actually human beings, and, you know, maybe they make it into the personal realm. You know, maybe they're interesting, and, it seems like there might be a mutual beneficial thing going on if you got to be friends with them or whatever. Yeah, you know, or you both like fly fishing, or you like to play frisbee with the dog, or whatever. You know what I mean? But everybody else is an NPC, pretty much. You know, like they don't exist. You know, what exists is you, where you are. Can't worry about anything else.
What's so strange is that we've got these laws and they're written down, and somehow nobody fucking knows them. I mean,
it's crazy.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's crazy. Hell? Well, you know, Jeff makes a good point here. We talked about this the other day. People that are willing collaborators, they do seem to get away with crimes. They'll get away with crimes right in front of the police.
No, what it is that if you're committing a crime, the cops will probably collaborate with you.
Yeah, especially if you're committing it against
a real American, certainly.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What's about
real
you?
American.
What's about you says I was created to be an NPC. I guess is what he meant. Yeah, that's a legit typo.
Well,
you're not an NPC.
They didn't put you through 12,000 plus hours of indoctrination for fun.
Right, there was a reason for that.
It's so that when you're my jury, and the government's like, he's been accused of article this or that, that you're just like, that one, let's see, who's wearing the costume here? Okay, he's right. And that works. That happens. You know, because you got to remember, I have a video about jury duty. Now, why was I called jury duty? Because I don't have any felonies. Right? And
right.
I'm pushing up on 40. So, to not have any felonies in a fucking market where the goddamn government's at war with everybody, you got to understand what that is. That's impressive. Especially since I totally disregard all laws, basically. Like, you know, I've smoked weed in my truck in about fucking 45 states or some damn thing. Where it's just bro, I totally don't respect your crap. I don't care what you got to say. I don't believe in your crap. Bro, how many accidents have I avoided while I was blazed as fuck?
Right.
A bunch. Now, how many people have I run into while I was blazed? 0.
Yep,
so while I'm somewhere between 500,000 miles and You guys are pretending like it's a DUI to smoke weed in your car. Dude, get
Yeah.
the hell out of here.
There
Your
was
bullshit
this.
is nonsense.
Did you see the one on the civil rights lawyer, the kid that's a country music singer, that got pulled over by the cops, and the cops were like, "You're obviously high on marijuana," and then when his blood tests came back, it was like, no, he wasn't. Anyway, this cop was saying, well, you know, it's pretty much proven that people that drive under the influence of cannabis tend to speed a lot. They speed more than anybody else, and they speed really up in the high numbers, almost to 100 mile an hour. And I'm like,
Look, man, they used to say, in the 90s, they said that cannabis caused brain damage, and now they sell it in all these stores. The government is just full of shit. And their declared truth is always wrong.
it's always a lie. Yeah, it's always a lie. But this
Always.
cop actually believed the bullshit that was coming out of his mouth, and he's probably all of 26, 27 years old. He doesn't know a fucking thing about nothing.
Yeah, I don't know why he even thinks his opinion matters. He needs to either be obeying a warrant or minding his fucking business.
Well, I think that probably behind the end of this, he's going to be pushing a broom in a warehouse, because I think he's probably going to get fired and lose his job and go to jail, because this isn't just a kid that doesn't have any money and doesn't have any sense. He gets it. He wrote a song about it. Throw me to the wolves, or thrown to the wolves. Something like that. Yeah, thrown to the wolves is the name of the song.
Everyone that deals with the socialist knows what it is.
Yeah, or should know. You know, he knows now, doesn't he? If you don't know now, you will when they do it to you. You will understand when they do it to you.
Yeah, it's no excuse. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Taking part in
Yeah,
force
yeah.
against your people, it's no excuse. Hey, I've got the 1990s. This is your brain on drugs commercial on my channel. Yeah, oh, what a joke.
Yeah, that's some-
really? So every drug does the exact same thing. Okay, so like aspirin does that, and ibuprofen does that, and oxygen's a drug, guys. Don't forget that one. Don't forget oxygen.
Yeah, even though it's a gas, it's a drug, right? Like nitrous oxide. Yeah, is that a drug? It's scheduled, but is it a drug? No.
Honestly, who cares?
It's a gas.
There's no injured complainant. And
Right,
if they want to be at war
gas.
with you, then that's treason. And they're all willing to step up to the plate. Is
Diesel's
it
here.
Isn't
What's
it
up,
American?
Diesel? It's funny. What's up, man?
We can't hear you.
Yeah, whatever you're doing, he must have got bored or something. Well, you know, we'll bring it. If he pops back in, we'll bring him back on.
You could just leave him
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
probably.
That
Hold
whole
on.
yeah.
Hold
I
on
can
a
see
second.
that.
So he's like, yeah, you should leave him. Let's say.
I don't know what he just got removed. Oh, he must have taken himself off. Come on back on there, Diesel. Diesel Weasel. That's a Rick and Morty reference there. Yeah, you wake up to tyranny when you experience it. I already knew what it was back in the early 90s because of the drug war, and the drug war, it positioned me in a place where I made a lot of fucking money as a young man. A lot of fucking money. We went on some nice trips. I never bought anything with that money, but maybe a used car here and there. But, we went on vacations. We went skiing at nice places. We had, we went out to dinner at a place where the bill was $400. Not all the time, but but I knew then, because I remember watching the video of those fucking guys burn. They had flamethrowers, man, and they were burning down the pot plants with flamethrowers on the West Coast. It was crazy, dude. It was crazy.
Yeah, they do it by helicopter nowadays. Where they just drop some, I don't know what it is, maybe napalm or something.
Wow. Yeah, well, in the mid-'70s, Jeff, I was about 5 and 6 years old, so.
I don't see that comment. If it takes experiencing it, what that really means that you've got such a poor understanding of politics that you have to see something in action. And the truth is, everyone needs to understand what leftism is. It's government control.
Yep.
On the far side of that is full communism, where the government owns everything you do. On the far side of right is anarchy, total anarchy, where no one's telling you building codes, no one's telling you anything, which I feel like that's a little bit extreme. I don't mind having a city organize some building codes, but what I do mind is when they show up and they start acting like you're fucking king.
Yeah, Diesel, your thing says devices not connected, so I don't know what's going on with you, but I can't help you.
Try restarting your browser.
Yeah, restart your browser, Diesel. Try that. Hey, listen, I'm gonna give you the stage for a minute, man. I have to make a nature call and get some fluids. I'll be back.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, basically, we had one guy come on, Bricks, Jonesy. He wanted to argue things like case precedent. He called it case law. It's not law. The judiciary doesn't make laws, so it can't possibly be law. And now, the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution is Article 6, and it says the courts are bound to the laws of the United States. So, when you talk to a judge and you tell him something like, hey, freedom of press, First Amendment, he's bound to that. He is bound to that. And if he acts otherwise, he's outside his judicial capacity. He's not even a judge. These people do not have discretion. I know that everyone believes that. Well, cops have discretion. No, they don't. If a cop has a warrant, then his discretion is that he can quit his job or he can serve that warrant. That's his discretion. It's not that he gets to decide whether the warrant is legal or something like that. He's just a enforcer. He doesn't, he's just the guard standing outside the door. It's not that he knows anything or he has any qualifications in anything. He's just a guy that holds a weapon and does as he's told. And what's he told? To execute warrants. So, in my case, I wasn't seized with a warrant. I was seized with a memorandum to the police. It was signed by a judge. But that doesn't make it a warrant. A warrant can only be issued based on an injured complainant's sworn statement of damages, which doesn't occur in my case. And I'll be collecting the discovery soon. And we'll find out everything that they've got to accuse me of. It doesn't matter. Because the whole thing it's procedurally wrong. It's a due process violation. 14th Amendment. So, I need to be seized with a warrant signed by an injured complainant's sworn statement of damages. Not just some memo the judges wrote.
You all right, man? Or did you just hear me come back on?
I heard you come back on. Yeah. Yeah, we're good.
Yep, okay. Let's see.
All right, what was the last thing you showed? What do you think about having to articulate isn't knowing and protecting our rights with the government creation is predicated on? Well,
yeah, exactly.
Here's the thing. If a cop asks you a question and you don't want to answer it, you should invoke your right. Okay? But until you do that, you don't have to answer anything. Still. Okay? But if you choose to answer, then the thing is that you know, or at least should know, you have a right not to answer questions that will be used to incriminate you. So if you do answer, you're failing your citizenship test. Wouldn't you agree? Let me come back after you answer this.
Okay. Yeah, you have to articulate. You don't have a choice. You have to articulate, and then you have the rights. But until you articulate, no, you're not a proven citizen in the eyes of the cop, right? Like, we have this idea between Kennedy and I that, you know, every time we get pulled over, it's a citizenship test, right? So when you get pulled over, the first thing that you say is, you know, where's your warrant? I have a Fourth Amendment right against unlawful, you know, unreasonable search and seizure. Yeah, you're not wrong, Jeff, but, you know, it is what it is, bro. These people are they're not here to help us anymore. They're not on our side anymore, if they ever were, this government. You know, right? Yeah. You have to pass your citizenship every time you get pulled over or talk to a cop or go to court or whatever. And passing your citizenship test is knowing your rights and standing on them. Woo! That was fun.
I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I do know that if you're gonna, bro, think about this. A cop pulls you over and you start telling him about how you just robbed a place. What do you expect?
Right.
I mean, come on, man. Like, you just got done. Listen, regardless if you're aware or not, you should be aware. Because our laws, the supreme law of the land, is mostly on 2 pages. And then you've got these other charges, federal charges included too, but as long as they don't violate your amendments. So, like, you got to think about, like, what's an extreme case, and it's just like, dude, a cop showed up and asked you what you've been doing, and you just admitted to a fucking violent crime or something. Why do you have a right? What makes you have a right not to provide evidence against you unless you're the one that's gonna say, I'm not going to answer your question.
Right. You have to secure it yourself. It's
consensual. This consensual concept it's something that people are getting really confused on, because the costumes, where people are just like, oh, that guy's wearing that costume, that means I don't have a right not to consent. But, dude, you need to know your laws and what applies to you, and if you don't invoke those rights, you still have them, but is the cop gonna understand them? Just be clear. Like, be as clear as you can. Why not? Be as clear, because you don't have to explain the purpose behind not answering. If you just say, I'm invoking my Fifth Amendment right. Because that's an explanation of everything you're doing.
Right. And that's all you owe them. You don't owe them jack shit else. The other thing is, you know, they're going to keep on asking. We've seen the videos. We've been pulled over. We know it's one question right after another. Even after you plead the Fifth, they're still going to ask you questions, because it's their job to trip you up and to make you fail that citizenship that I was talking about earlier, that me and Kennedy likened this to. It's a citizenship test, man, and they're going to keep trying to trip you up, and you just have to, you know, you can put up with it for as long as you like, and then say, you're disrupting my lawful business. I'm going to have to ask you to leave the area, or you're going to be placed under arrest. I'm going to exercise my Fourth Amendment right against you and arrest you.
Yeah, depending on what your state allows you to do. Also, it could be argued as a Ninth Amendment right. Where
well,
the thing is this. In my last video, do you remember the judge saying, "You can't have a gun in here"?
Yeah.
Okay, well, and I was like, well, this is public property, and I have a Second Amendment right. And they're always trying to pretend like they own these courtrooms and they own all this stuff, but the truth is we own that stuff and we have
right.
rights to them.
We paid for it. We paid for it. We paid for their stupid houses and their stupid wives and their stupid kids, and we sure as hell paid for all those buildings that they say we can't film in, or you can't come in here talking about that. Bullshit, man.
Yeah. Your audio just went out.
Yeah, there it is. Sorry about that. I just barely even touched it, man. Barely even touched it. I'm rolling a smoke here, so give me a second.
So what do you roll them in papers without filters then, or what?
No, I'm using filters inside of rolling paper.
Inside, so it's two separate things. I buy my filters with tubes.
Yeah, I would too if I could get anywhere. But I can't, so I'm dealing with what I got on hand, bro. So I can finance this rack and pinion, I'm smoking cigarette butts.
Well, yeah, the taxes on cigarettes are ridiculous.
Yeah, they are. Every tax is ridiculous as far as I'm concerned.
And then, the more taxes you pay, the more likely they're going to show up and pretend like you're a criminal because you smoke cigarettes or some damn thing. Or pay for weapons or whatever.
Well, you know, it's just a matter of time before they get to this, you know, kind of, crime prevention by arresting people before they commit crimes. That sort of shit. Or making up crimes where none exist.
Pre-crime.
Right, yeah. Minority
Diesel.
Report type shit. Yeah. Diesel up here?
Okay.
All right. What's up, man?
Hello.
Hey, he's
Hey,
here.
I can hear
Yay. What's up, man?
Well, I just have to give everybody fair notice. This is the first time I've ever done this.
That's all right, man.
So,
Okay, wait a minute. Here we go. Here we go.
What was that?
We just popped your cherry, so go ahead, man.
Well, again, going to give another fair notice that anything I say or do is not legal advice. It's educational purposes only.
Yeah, no legal advice on this channel. We don't do that.
Well, and we're kind of stepping on a sidebox too. You guys are absolutely correct on how to operate in court. But the issue at hand is how to get the courts back in honor and in good standing with clean hands.
Well,
And
did you see my video of me in court?
Yes, I did, and you did an awesome
Okay.
job.
Awesome. Appreciate it. So the way I see it, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I already have legal grounds for an appeal. We haven't even started the court process yet, and I already have them. And I'm going to do nothing but gain more legal grounds on that. So my next step is going to be picking up the discovery, which is going to have all information that the prosecution has, which is both against me and exculpatory.
Yep, exculpatory. Yep.
And so once I have that, then I can do things like, okay, so one of the things I want to do is I want to file criminal charges on the judge that signed the warrant because they did it without an injured complainant's sworn statement of damages. So that makes this warrant essentially what it is it's a memo to the cops. And it was signed by a judge, right? But it wasn't based on an injured complainant's sworn statement of damages. Because, you know, obviously I didn't damage anyone. I wouldn't. Why the hell would I do that? But anyways, so we got this motions hearing, and I need to get everything together for that motions hearing. I need to get anyone that wants to win their case, you do set your goal for 10 motions, and you'll win. You'll win. One of the motions
as evidence against them.
One of the motions that I'm gonna be putting to the court is the fact that the warrant was signed without an injured complainant's sworn statement or damages, which is a Fourth Amendment violation. Okay, so I'm gonna ask to suppress that. Once that's suppressed, we don't have a warrant to seize me. We don't have you know, and honestly, another thing I'm going to do is charge the judge that signed that with counterfeiting, because it's totally ridiculous. But anyways, the motions hearing needs to include everything that I could possibly think out. Like, for instance, the drug war, this war on mushrooms, is it's a religious war. That your beliefs don't line up with my beliefs. And so you're thinking that it's a crime to have my religious beliefs, which is a violation of my freedom of religion, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, I've got to get all of these together and do the motions hearing. The judge is bound under Article 6 of the Constitution, the Supremacy Clause, which binds him to U.S. law. That's the amendments, first and foremost, and then it's the federal laws. So things like treason, where I arrested the judge for treason, that's
Yes.
the courts are bound to that. So, I mean, let's say I fucking get in a car wreck and I'm brain dead from here on out and I can't do anything. I don't file anything. The truth is, I already have appeal grounds. You know, I've already pointed out that there's no complainant and stuff, okay? So this is all in the record. So when I go to appeal, then I'm going to say things like, I was seized without a warrant, Fourth Amendment. Later on, I have a right to face that accuser, and there's no accuser. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, so they have zero standing, and there's no jurisdiction in the matter.
And that's just procedural. Once we get further on this case, bro, they don't have any evidence. They never did. So they never sent anything to a lab. They never... And then, Doc, what did you find when you looked up if mushrooms were illegal in Oregon?
It's kind of nebulous right now because the governor signed this law repealing the decriminalization of drugs. But, you know,
did you find that? What day was that? Can you still see it or what?
Let me...
I didn't find that. I was looking for that.
Oh, shit. Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah, that would be good to know. Let me be right back.
True, that gives you more of a standing as well.
Oh, for sure. Bro, it's already First Amendment protected freedom of religion. I'm already secure in my... Say that again?
You already have it, you just want to give it more strength for you standing.
Yeah. Honestly, man, the problem with me is that I have too many options. It's not that I don't have any options.
All right.
So I tend to have to prioritize and stuff. That's the problem for me. And I know other people are not going through that, but I am.
Can you see that?
Okay, yeah, I'll be right back. We shouldn't start actually until I get back.
Yeah, that's
Can you
cool.
hold on? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. You
No
can talk
problem.
about something else, though. Sure, for sure. What do you want?
Well, I may not be able to stay on long. I got to go pick up my grandbaby. But I did want to bring out, we may ought to start getting a book called Masons Let me see if I can remember. I had it a long time ago. Mason legislature procedure. Right? Now there's Jefferson as well, but most states actually go by Mason. Madison.
Yeah.
Not Mason, Madison. All right. Which, in all actuality, states operate the same way as Congress. Now, in our First Amendment, right, we have a right to petition our redress or our mantras. Okay? Nowhere does it say we have a right to protest. It's to petition. Okay, that's what gives us strength. So what we got to do is follow the procedures to instruct our legislators into compliance. Like if we want a judge to be impeached, well, we got to go through the legislature to do the petition to have them impeached. And then they have to go to the Senate of the state or in Congress. So Congress or the federal government will still operate the same way as the state. It's just got the moving parts in different ways.
Yeah, it's just a different machine. That's all. It's the same kind of machine. It's the difference between a kid's remote control toy truck and a semi on the highway when you're talking about local and federal. Yeah, it's just a bigger machine. That's all. Just a bigger machine. Yeah, everything is procedural. Yeah, exactly.
How I learned
there's procedure.
How I learned this was a gentleman. They call him E-Calls on YouTube. He passed away. LIC. I lived in Exeter County when this happened, but he took down family court, CPS, and deputies due to all this going through the legislative branch, but not really so much as the judicial. The judicial wasn't doing anything but kind of violating rights. So he went and circled around into the legislature and said, hey, you need to compliance.
Well, there's different ways to get things done. That's for sure. But the easiest way is just to stand on your rights. But again, what you're talking about, there's a procedure. But the main point is we got to get this stuff in the record. We got to get these lawsuits on these cops' jackets, man, because eventually, if you have so much of a monetary monetary suits stacked up against you in your jacket, then you can no longer be a cop because we can't insure you. That's how we start, is by putting that shit in their jacket. Same thing with this judge. You get him, you get that on his record somehow. I don't know how you would do that, but I guess you would have to sue him in court. You'd have to drag him in front of a judge in a civil case.
You keep filing charges.
Actually go through the impeachment process. Now, is it going to be?
No, you gotta keep filing charges on him in every different aspect. So you're gonna need 2 sets first off. One set is gonna be state charges.
Sorry, man, your volume is really low.
Sorry.
That's better.
One set needs to be state charges. That's gonna be things like, maybe assault, battery, official oppression can be a state charge. And then you're also gonna do a separate set for federal, which is gonna be things like, for my case, that's participating in the drug war, that's open treason. It's textbook treason. That's what's so funny about it. It's textbook. It's not. It requires no interpretation. It's just like, dude, you're either at war with the American people or you're not. And so the drug war, what is that? It's a war.
Wouldn't that be under the extension of the Civil War? And from my research and educational purposes only, I have not seen evidence that the Civil War has ever ended. So I'm led to believe and do believe that the war on drugs is the extension of the Civil War, since it's never really been lawfully closed as a war.
I don't see the connection between the Civil War, but what I do see is that a war against your own people is treason.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why the stakes were so high in the Civil War, because, you know, man, look at, they could have hanged every single person that participated in the Civil War as traitors. They could have done. They did hang a whole lot of people.
They probably hung people that weren't associated with, you know, a 20,000 man army, right? And then
Sure.
you know, once the 20,000 man army gives up, it's gonna be based on that my men aren't gonna be killed and stuff like that.
Right. Whatever the armistice is, whatever the surrender is ordered.
Well,
but, you know, I would say that. Yeah, go ahead, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
According to my research, for educational purposes, all right, by the law of nations, right, there's 3 basic categories. Okay, number 1, all men and women has got natural rights given from the Creator. Okay, whoever that may be. Then you got the people. Well, according to the law of nation, people have political power, even though they're citizens, the capital C citizen, and not the lower C grammar. Right? Then you got the 14th Amendment citizen, which is subject to the incorporated
No.
federal
No. No, that's
administrative.
not. No. Citizens aren't subjects. Citizens are sovereigns.
Well, there is an argument about the 14th Amendment and the part that comes before the semicolon, and you know, it's an opening of a sentence. It's not the subject. It's not the fact. It's an opening. That's all it is. It's a predicate.
Well, look, anyone would have to name the king before we can even move forward on that conversation.
Yeah, who's the king? Exactly. Yeah, I don't have the words for it, but there it
Don't
is.
the judges imply there's the kings and the officers?
Yeah, but they're judges.
Are
There's the
soldiers?
judiciary blank. They're the judiciary branch, which they don't create laws. They don't create edicts. They don't create. I mean,
Yeah, they create policy for their own offices, but that's it, only for their employees. They don't create law. You know, they make rulings, decisions, and opinions, and that's it. You know, beyond the decisions in a courtroom on a criminal case, they may have, you know, there's going to be a penalty phase, which would be a judicial order that you remand this person to such and such agency to be held in detention at such and such prison for this long of a term. You know, but that's a secondary thing. We're not concerned
no,
with
it
that.
isn't. It's not. It's still a warrant based on an injured complaint, sworn statement of damages.
Well, right, we're going to assume that. I was assuming that there was an injured complainant. Hold on a second.
Right.
Well, everything's
your
gone
sound
by
is.
administrative.
Hold on. Your sound's out. It's.
How
current.
about now? Is it good?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Yeah, I had to swing the boom away.
If
go
I'm
ahead, Diesel.
incorrect, I'm led to believe that everything is administrative, which is magistrates first. You can get to a judge later on.
Listen,
But
all
everything's-
courts are bound to the laws of the United States under the Supremacy Clause.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
And I'm-
matter if you call it administrative. It doesn't matter if you call it admiralty jurisdiction. It doesn't matter if you call it. Let's see, what would be another option?
It could be called mayor's court. Whatever. Still bound.
Because all courts are bound. All courts are bound to the laws of the United States. That includes your amendments.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
Supreme law of the land.
so
for sure.
in my video, I said, hey, don't I have a right to be secure in my property? And the judge started spewing some shit like, no, I don't. And not only that, but you can't have a gun in here, is what he came up with. And
Yeah.
I explained to him, like, this is public property. These guys think they own this building and stuff. But
Yeah,
the truth,
yeah.
the absolute
insane.
truth is they're the only ones that don't contribute to this building.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, because we took a loan on this building and now we're getting it all paid off and stuff, right? But as far as they go, they're just taking our money and paying their taxes. So that's nothing.
In the common law section of the Magna Carta, it says that if the courts charge, they are causing battery to the people.
Well, if they're causing battery, then we have a law for that. Listen, common law is an England thing. It has nothing to do with us. We have enumerated rights based on common law.
Yes.
Based on common law. But now we're Americans now, and we have enumerated rights. Things like the right to freedom of press, the right to be secure in your personal house, papers, and effects, the right to, keep and bear arms. Okay, and now in England, these would be called common law. Okay, but in America, we've already got it worked out. It's not a work in progress anymore. In England, no, it's federal law. It's federal law. In England, it was a work in progress because over the years, they were like, oh shit, we need to sign the Magna Carta to limit the king's power. Oh shit, we need to start separating these powers so that the same person that's accusing you isn't the same person that judges you and stuff like that. Okay, so in England, yeah, that's common law. But here, it's not that really for us. You shouldn't really, I don't believe that common law has a place in your vernacular in America because we have enumerated rights based on, and then we have Ninth Amendment rights, which are those that have been unwritten, right? But they're still our rights. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, definitely. Which is the Ninth Amendment that nobody uses.
Ninth Amendment, yes.
And the Tenth Amendment backs up the Ninth Amendment.
No, the 10th Amendment is the right of the people in states to create laws. They can create laws in your state. But here's the problem. Most of these state laws are trash. These state legislatures are basically low IQ retards, where they just think that they just say whatever the hell they want and now it becomes a law. And that's not true because we have the Supremacy Clause, which binds any of the judiciary to the United States law. Things like freedom of press, things like right to bear arms, things like that you're secure in your person, houses, papers, effects, unless they have a warrant. But still, you're still got a Fifth Amendment right not to produce evidence against you, even if they have a warrant. So they're going to be like, we want to take your DNA. We have a warrant. It doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. Because I'm not going to, because now we're talking a Fifth Amendment right that I don't provide any information that will be used against me, including DNA. And you're like, oh, I got a warrant. Well, yeah, but that's the Fourth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment is that I have a right to be, to not provide any information that will be used against me. So you don't even have a right to have a warrant here. But, you know, the people are just going to go along with it. If they're told that it's a law, if they're told that it's a statute, if they're told that it's a case law. No, guys, it's case precedent. And it holds no bearing in law. It's not the law.
Look how they diluted the Second Amendment, so much.
They
Shall
didn't,
not
though.
be infringed. Shall not.
Then hold them to that. It's not diluted. It's not diluted unless you agree to stand under this dilution. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yes.
it makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, it makes sense. You have to give it legitimacy. We give legitimacy to whatever we choose, basically.
Yeah. Most
and
people
that-
go in there under the wrong standing.
Well, yeah, but
For sure.
yeah,
That's for sure. Okay, and we all have different ways of going about it. Some people would be arguing they're all cops' name. I'm not big on that stuff. I get it, in a way. Anyway, not fully, I would admit. But that's the thing that they're going to do, and I'm going to do I'm going to do something different, where I'm invoking my rights, my real rights. I'm just going to stand on my rights. And, bro, if that's not enough, bro, maybe it's not enough. Maybe I'll go to prison. 10 years is the maximum sentence. Maybe I'll go to prison for 10 years, okay? But it makes sense to stand on the laws that fall under my education, which is, I understand the supremacy clause. I understand. I've read my rights. Like, why wouldn't I stand under those things instead of some obscure? I don't know.
I still think it gives the people more strength if we learn how to do our standing on petition or monstrance on grievance against the legislature and instruct them to actually impeach these judges.
Why? You should arrest them, like I did. Because here's the deal, man. I banned my judge from public service. And I know that people aren't agreeing with me in the comments, maybe, okay? But that doesn't change the fact. He's been accused of treason. What kind of sense does it make to have a judge that's been accused of treason? It doesn't make any sense.
Right. Once you're accused of treason by any citizen, and you are actually a traitor, and this judge is actually a traitor, because he's furthering proceedings against this man who's accused of blah 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 with mushrooms. That's a violation of the First Amendment, man, and the warrant is shit. It doesn't look official. It's not official. Like it's written on a napkin or something, right? Or written on a fucking Post-it note.
Yeah, it's nothing more than a memo. Go to
it's memo.
YouTube channel.
And denying lawful process.
That's right. There's all kinds of constitutional crimes that this judge committed that makes him a traitor. He's provably a traitor by his words in the courtroom. We're not going to continue because you have this thing that might be a camera. Well, I'm invoking my First Amendment right as press. You said it in the courtroom. I'm the press.
Yeah, and he told me there was no complainant, which means what?
Well, it means that it should have been dismissed right there.
It means that no warrant may issue.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, which means that the proceeding is done. There's nothing more
I
to
was
discuss.
only there. Yeah, I was only there under threat, duress, coercion, obviously.
Yes. And that's how they get us as well, is under the threat of coercion.
Awesome, Ben Ballion. Bro, thank you so much. Appreciate it, David. Sorry to
Wow,
interrupt.
18,000 views. Jesus. I hope he gave us links.
You know what? I noticed your channel was kind of blowing up. You had 600 views or something,
Me?
didn't you?
On something. Let me look. Anyway, go ahead, you guys, while I'm looking at this.
Cool.
I
Yeah,
doubt
it needs to be spread because, bro,
Absolutely.
this is the law of the land. I mean, bro,
So
there's-
important.
How many ways are there of explaining it where it's just like treason stands above your stupid state statute?
Absolutely.
The supremacy clause says that no matter what a state's law is, the law is the federal law. The federal laws. Those
Holy
are
shit.
laws.
Yeah, look,
How many
418
codes and
views.
statutes and numbers they got to reevaluate treason? That thing's
Well-
exploded everywhere.
It's not debatable though. It's easy to
No.
figure out. Wars against the American people. That's treason. So drug war certainly qualifies. How about the CPS wars?
Yeah, absolutely treason.
I say it is.
It's
How
war.
about how they think they own your kids, bro, and they brainwash the fuck out of them every goddamn day. You don't think that's a
them
war?
Yep, turn them against the parents, turn them against morality, turn them into little fucking monsters is what they do.
From people who don't even have an oath.
Right, right. Yeah,
Which goes
yeah,
back
they're all
into-
socialists.
Like
They have
teachers
no
don't
legit
take an
hours.
oath. You're saying like teachers don't take an oath.
Well, well, it's under administrative period. CPS is not really government anyway. It's a business that's government funded. So it's just still its own.
Yeah, so it's the government.
Yeah, socialism is all like that though. It's always
It is.
they're giving the administrator $1 million so that he can spend $500,000, and the administrator takes the rest. That's all
Well,
socialism.
That's the reason why the Chevron overturn doesn't really make a whole lot of difference.
I didn't follow it at
Still
all.
be there.
You'd have to explain what it is. I would need you to explain what it is. I haven't been following at all.
Well, the Chevron was more administrative, governs herself, and the court says you're not doing a good job of it, so we're going to govern y'all instead. And I'm saying the court's not going to do any better. That needs to go back to the who created that.
Well, you gotta hold the courts. You gotta hold the courts to Article 6, the Supremacy
Yes.
Clause. They're back. Hold on, Doc, would you bring that back? You gotta hold them to the Supremacy Clause. And honestly, bro, it's gotta be up to you. And you're gonna have to use your words. You're gonna have to make it clear that your Supremacy Clause rights are the law of the land. Okay, what's the matter with you? I don't know. It's frustrating the hell out of me. Barry Cooper was calling me deluded and stuck on stupid. Well, he's a pig. And his argument was that the X Amendment gave states rights to make laws that violate the Constitution. And that's so stupid. Bro, Article 6 specifically explains that the laws are the laws of the United States, not your state. It says state laws withstanding. Where state laws are irrelevant. And then we had a Supreme Court case on it, Marbury v. Madison, where they said, anything that violates the Constitution is null and void. And then later on, they made a 14th Amendment, which is that Congress shall not abridge any federally protected rights. That's no Congress. That's not your state legislature, city legislature, council, in other words, nor your, federal legislature, Congress, in other words, the bicameral House, Senate, and Representatives. So, yeah, Barry Cooper, come on, man, he's a good man. He's a good man. I like him. But, come on, man. As far as legal advice or something, what the hell?
Yeah, it sounds like he's arguing policies
Well, I did-
and decisions and shit to me.
I did live in Odessa at the time when Barry Cooper did all that.
Cool.
Definitely interested on news.
It's cool, yeah. It's cool. I like it. In case anyone isn't familiar, you can look him up. But basically what he did is he staged a house and he created a bunch of circumstantial evidence that it was a drug house. And then the cops went ahead and swore out warrants under penalty of perjury. They swore out warrants, And then they took the L because they broke in and it was just like a bunch of signs saying, "Fuck you, you dumbasses." Fuck you. You just fucking swore to a warrant that had no basis in reality. Now you're guilty of perjury. You're guilty of, which is awesome. Apparently, a lot of people are under this odd impression. Sorry, go ahead.
They showed evidence in public light that they have been committing crimes and unlawfully arresting people.
And it's standard. So people around the country were like, "Oh, I identify with that."
Yeah,
Yet
of course.
they're still doing it. Nobody realizes.
Yeah, never assume that a pig is not lying. Never assume that a pig is not lying.
Well,
He's
if
talking
you-
to you. He's lying.
Yeah, if
If
his
you
snout
need
is wiggling,
his
he's
input,
lying.
if you need his input, then there's something wrong with you. That's what it is.
Right.
Always ask questions because
No.
you're doing your own investigation.
No, don't even ask him. Order what it is you need to give some lawful orders immediately. First off, ask for his warrant, okay, and then start giving lawful orders. Okay, so that's, hey, you're creating a disturbance. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. Check your state laws. Figure out what you could arrest someone on. If you can't arrest them for it, then you can still press charges on them. So.
Surely, yeah, definitely. Still swear
I've
out a
never heard
criminal
that
complaint.
before, but now I'm hearing that is the justification in many people's minds and why they think we're wrong. What's he saying? Do you guys?
He's saying that the 10th Amendment, is what he said it was before. That's not. He's not agreeing. He's just saying that's why people are the way they are about standing on your rights. They think, oh, that's just going to get you killed or whatever. No, what's going to get you killed is talking about Raz and what crime, what did I do, what statute. Just like they tossed Carolina on her face because that was her thing. What did I do? I didn't do anything.
Well,
boom.
If they believe they can seize you without a warrant, that's what's going to get you killed. But it's the Fourth Amendment. You can't be seized without a warrant. That warrant needs to be based on an injured complainant's sworn statement of damages. It didn't exist in Carolina's case. It didn't exist in my case.
Didn't exist in Chili's case.
But
Didn't
they
exist
still
in a lot of cases.
Exactly.
Yeah, 'cause-
Yep. 95% of their laws are null and void under the Supremacy Clause, as upheld by Marbury v. Madison, as upheld by the 14th Amendment. Congress shall make no laws abridging federally protected rights. Oh yeah, he's a buddy of mine, but we disagree sometimes. Who are we talking about? I'm sorry, guys. Am I losing it?
No, he's talking about Barry Cooper.
He's a great man. Let's leave
Well,
it at that.
and then you also got oh shit, it blanked out of my brain.
It happens to us too, so don't feel bad.
You had the Supreme Court, the Miranda. Well,
They
the
don't
Miranda.
make laws. It doesn't matter.
Well, no,
They don't
but
make
it
laws.
particularly says they cannot compel you. They cannot
It doesn't.
threaten you.
It doesn't
to
matter.
incriminate you.
The courts
That's what-
don't create laws, and they don't modify laws. They don't. What your right is what's written in the enumerated rights, the Constitution, and then you can be charged on a crime once you violate that. So specifically, things like you need a complainant that's gonna be like, that man right there. You know, you need that.
Yeah, there's got to be a man or woman that's been harmed. So,
Well, I don't want to get into women, but yeah, a man. Let's go with man.
And human being. Let's say that.
Well, let's go with man.
Just
All men are created equal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the sake of verity, yeah.
No, fuck Verity. Man.
I knew you were gonna say that, but yeah, man. I got 400 something views on that video on my channel. You're right.
Good.
It did blow
Awesome.
that was a good one. It blew the fuck up, and it must have blew up because of the other guy showing it. Maybe we'll get some more subscribers and shit. That'd be nice.
well, and then you go into go into the courtroom as well, I would like to call Mr. or Mrs. Ector County to stand before me on my Sixth Amendment. I got some questions.
Yeah, let's
Since they're
produce
witness.
produce the injured party who swore a statement of damages. Yeah, produce that person. Produce the person that got me arrested on this warrant.
Bro, what's the
Produce it.
matter, you? Why don't you just join us or something? I'm having a hard time, actually, kind of.
Yeah, he's sometimes babysitting,
Oh,
so he can't really. I think he's got
Mr.
some.
Attorney, when did you speak to Mrs. and Mr. Ector County?
Yeah, to the prosecuting attorney. Yeah, exactly. When did they file their complaint? Yeah.
Are you saying he has some type of standing without speaking to such plaintiff? Well, I need them to stand on the witness stand, or you can stand on the witness stand.
the problem with the courts creating laws is that really all they do is collaborate. So if it's a socialist on the stands, he's gonna just get off with whatever, no matter what it is.
Yeah,
Fucking
because they're
attacking a kid, molestation, goddamn, no matter what it is. And then, so you're right about that. What's the matter, you?
All right.
Okay, can you guys give me a second? Sorry.
yeah. Go ahead, man.
So did he just mention the comment that I made about it being a mess if Huey did that? Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah, that's what he was talking about. I'm not familiar with what happened to Barry. I know who he is, and I know he's had his problems with the police because he was a cop, and then he went to the good side, right? Like he got converted. Yeah, he was
And as soon as
converted.
he did that, when he made those videos busting those cops for going in that fake grow house and also other things, he would drop little bags off somewhere with like paraphernalia and money in it and whatnot, and then mark which cops would actually turn in the bag to evidence and which would have the money in it. Yeah, and he busted a few. The roof fell in on him. They came and took his kids a bunch of times. It got ugly. He had to flee
Yeah,
the
he had to
country.
move.
Yeah,
had
he
to
lives in the
leave.
Philippines. He's been to like 5 or 6 different countries. Now he lives in the Philippines. He has a stream every Tuesday night. It's really, really good.
I
It's
didn't
really worth.
realize they ran him out of the country, but you know what, man? When I get my hands on a certain amount of money, I'm out of here too. I'll still keep doing these broadcasts, but I've done my part. I've put myself in harm's way at the WTO in 1999 in Seattle. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I was there,
Really?
bro. I was with the Black Bloc, and we didn't start it. Everybody tried to say, "Oh, Black Bloc started it." No, the element that I was in, we didn't start anything. It was cops that infiltrated, because let's face it, man, it's easy to get into a protest and turn it into a riot if you're
So
dressed in
easy.
street. Right, if you're dressed in street clothes.
They do it every damn time almost.
Right, and those pigs, they picked guys that were young looking, and they just they put them in balaclavas and black sweatsuits and
Oh yeah.
Nike tennis shoes, and they're Black Bloc.
Yeah.
They're Black Bloc, and they did that shit to us there, bro. But my point is, once I get a certain amount of cash, I'm out. I'm leaving.
Yeah, I would be too. I don't know where to go anymore. I used to think New Zealand, but now that's changed. I just don't know where I would go.
the best thing to do is to figure out what kind of climate you want to live in, and then you figure out by talking to other expats how you make your life there.
Bro, fuck
Okay.
Yeah.
that shit. Fuck that shit. You gotta hold your ground.
Yeah.
Right,
well,
right.
It's the only option. You can't.
Even with all these shitheads around me.
Yeah.
Well, look, my point is, no matter where I'm at on planet Earth, I'm still going to fight this fight. But I've already had my actual skin in jeopardy in this fight against repression.
Welcome
Oh,
to
Okay,
it,
1994.
man.
multiple times.
I had grow houses all over Portland and rental houses all over Portland. I got PTSD from that shit, man.
I'll bet.
I was on the front line with you, getting people their medicine.
Yep, absolutely, man, absolutely. Well, good for you, man.
their religious right under Genesis 129.
Absolutely, and making a lot of money. But you know, it wasn't really a worthwhile amount of money when you commit a lot of felonies just day in and day out. You know, it's hard to pay yourself adequately for that.
Yeah, you're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. It's
Well-
also, you know, you have to deal with a criminal element sometimes when you're doing that shit. And
Yeah.
you got to be real careful, man, that people don't. see
Yeah,
what
you
you're
can't
doing.
go to the authorities if somebody robs you. You got to
No.
handle it yourself.
Yep. What were you gonna say, Diesel?
I still think, you know, kind of like what you're talking about on the protest. I think, let's just say there was 10,000 people there, right? But if everybody signed a petition of their own grievance, and each and every one of them put it in writing and have standing, they have a right to be heard, and there's not going to be no injured parties by officers, because everybody's doing it really the lawful way of our regress. Because again, I'll go back into, there's no protest lawful in the First Amendment. It's petition. And the way we petition is in writing, and we have our own courts and order them to, you know, do their job, really. And that's where the 10th Amendment comes in as well. So it says, or the state or the people. Well, our state's got out of control. So we use the Fifth Amendment or the First Amendment to go in there and do our monstrance, our petition, and say, hey, I am one of the people, and I got all these people gathered around me, and we each have our own regress against crimes that you legislators are letting get by in your state.
I
Or in your
disagree with
town.
this.
It gets a little complicated.
I'm not big on groups because here's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm already an injured complainant. I lawfully placed my judge under arrest for treason. I lawfully
And groups
transferred
really
custody.
escalate.
Yeah, they
I lawfully transferred custody to a law enforcer, a sworn law enforcer. It's his sworn duty. Okay.
right. And when he
Right.
doesn't
It's-
do it, it's dereliction of duty, and it's a violation of the 6A and the 14A when he doesn't do it.
Well, what it is it's giving aid and comfort to the enemy. It's treason.
Okay, it's treason.
Full on.
Treason. All right. Well, we'll forget about those other things because they're petty compared to treason. We're dealing with people that are petty, but they're committing capital crimes every fucking day, and nobody's
Right.
doing anything about it because nobody is insisting on their rights.
The
Yeah,
only
and
real
a big. Go ahead.
The only
Go
real benefit to bringing in a bunch of people is, first off, number one, everyone needs to be exercising their 2A. It's a public trial, right? And so that way, when they bring in cops, like they did on this last hearing, they brought in cops to intimidate me out of having a camera, right? Well,
Yeah.
that way, when there's 40 armed people in the courtroom, that these two cops are like, oh, I'm gonna arrest them. That they think twice about it because somebody might not be down with that.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that necessarily. I don't think we're at that point yet. However, these courts are totally out of control, and we're just going to put them in check through paperwork, really, for now. In 10 years, once everyone figures out that the courts don't uphold our rights, then yeah, now we've got a situation like that, where the people are going to have to go in there and be fully armed and then go ahead and deal with the threat.
Well,
Yeah,
I
because
think,
right now, one of the big problems seems to be that people have been waiting for some kind of a leader or a politician to come along and do this for us, or even someone in the Justice Department, Federal Justice Department, to start stepping in, and nobody's going to do that. And then the auditors, right.
They can't do that. You got to
That's right.
understand that these people have a right to face their accuser. So if the American people will not stand up and be an injured complainant that signs a sworn statement of damages, then no warrant may issue. And
Right,
see, the thing is that we are wanting the same right as what the cops are getting. Actually, they have less rights than us.
They have
But
no
the
rights
thing
at all.
is, yeah. But the thing is, since nobody will accuse them, which I do, obviously you've seen that. But since no one else will actually accuse them of a crime, the DA can't
jumped
do
on.
anything. No one can do
I
anything.
got my throat massively jumped down because I said that if they arrested Kruger without Caroline first swearing out a complaint, then that would be a violation of his rights. Oh man, people really fucking flew down my
No,
throat. for that.
No, it won't be a violation of his rights because when he's in uniform, he does not have any rights.
Well,
he does
yeah,
not
he
have
does.
any rights.
Yes, he does. Well, no, here's what it is, Doc. He doesn't have rights with you.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Right, but he can't be seized without a warrant still
He has-
now for.
He still has rights with his government, and that
Yeah.
means he needs an injured complainant.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right. But he's a
That's
traitor.
all I was saying. But boy, people really fucking lost it over that.
Isn't he
Yeah.
a traitor for what he did to her? Isn't he a traitor for that, which requires no arrest warrant?
Well, let me ask you: is there a sworn statement claiming he's
No.
a traitor?
Right. Exactly. There has to be a sworn statement. I
Exactly.
guarantee you
That was
there
my
isn't
point.
one. I guarantee you there still isn't one from Carolina because
Yeah.
she doesn't know any better. She's another one of these auditors that completely resists the idea that anything but the 1A or the 2A exists.
Oh
You
no,
know,
case precedent is all she cares about.
Right. Case precedent, statute,
And that's
Supreme
how
Court
this
decision,
came up
blah,
over
blah.
there. Is everyone over there is going justice against Kruger, and I'm sitting there going, no, it's not going to fucking happen because who do you think is going to do that? Even if the prosecutor does that, he's going to be violating Kruger's rights without if he doesn't have a warrant based on a sworn statement, and she's not going to do that. So how the hell is anybody? And his buddies are just going to
Exactly.
collude, so they're not going to hold him accountable within their own little set of laws that they've made up this whole fiction.
They-
They're not going to do that there either.
They can't, even if they
Right.
wanted to. Even if they wanted to obey their oath, there's still not a sworn statement of damages against this criminal.
right. So they
Exactly.
get away with it because nobody out here in La La Land is willing to become an injured complainant except the selected few that have selected to actually exercise their citizenship.
I've
You
been
know,
dropping
but-
hints for Chile. For Chile to go swear out complaints against Zimmerman and Bort too, but I don't think it's going to happen.
No, he ain't going to do it because he doesn't believe that it works. He doesn't believe that we have any rights. He said that last summer. He said the most important right we have right now is the Fifth Amendment. And I
It's
was
all
at that
different. It's
Yeah,
all
at that
different
point-
now. Everything's different now. He's gone through some torture. He's ready to get him.
And
Well,
he
he
won
might
a
is,
case
yeah.
on that appeal on a first A, which couldn't be a better. I mean, other than possibly a 4A, but they could have thrown that in there. But the fact that he won that on that and not based on some case precedent bullshit, that's a strong indicator that being a constitutional law scholar is on the right track. Now, if he would just do that instead of being a case precedent
Yeah.
scholar.
Right. Yeah, he's not a constitutional law scholar. He's a case precedent scholar. Just like you see, you couldn't have said it better. You couldn't have said it better. Listen, I love Chile. He's on a short list of people that I can count on one hand that I would die for because he has
Yeah.
conviction.
Great guy.
He
Love him.
listen,
We all love
if
him.
anybody can carry the flag, it's him. Because
Yeah.
he's charismatic, he's intelligent, he's personable enough, but he's also he's got this righteous anger. And
He's
as
got to
long
learn to
as he
take
can
some criticism too.
right, well he is more open. He's also getting a little bit older. So, he's getting to the
Yeah.
age where he starts to listen more to what other people have to say.
Yeah,
and
I'm
weigh
wondering
what's
if he might be
coming out of there.
improved by what's happened here too.
Yeah, I think that he's probably going to come out of this crucible, and it was a crucible for him to
Yeah.
be in jail for that long. It was absolutely a crucible. He's going to come out of this re-energized. But I hope that he'll pop his head away from the Supreme Court and get with the actual constitutional law. If we can get him to get with the program and step over that line, then this thing will it will explode like a fucking.
Well, and he's going to have to do this in writing and at his own. He cannot have an attorney to represent him of any shape, form, or fashion.
Well, I mean, he can if he wants to waste his fucking money again. He can.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Order
But
to
he
get
can. He's
him on
smart
the right
enough.
path.
Yeah, he's smart enough and eloquent enough to do it on his own. He's a highly intelligent person. He's a highly intelligent person. You know, the only disadvantage that he has.
AI
go
can
ahead.
do mostly everything for you these days anyway.
Right, or you're going to find paperwork online. You know, all you got to do is look at any lawsuits that were successful and copy that. You know, whatever. There's plenty of ways to get it right, but he doesn't need any of that. He just needs to spend a couple hours talking to the man in the red, white, and blue shirt there, and that's it. That's all he needs. I'm excited. I'm excited about your video going on that other channel, bro, because it got me some hits too. I'm excited as fuck about that. 18,000. That's, dude. Neither one of us have ever had that. I mean, I've been on streams that got upwards of 100,000
I think
I
I
got
got
whatever.
16,000 on my farmer's market one. Pretty close, but yeah.
Wow.
Sure.
But that's new action, isn't it?
That would be a year ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I guess I'm not really able to see that information. Okay. Well.
You
maybe I
mean you
just-
made the video a
it
year
didn't
ago, or
matter.
you got the hits a year ago?
I made the original video a year ago, got the hits then, and then I've made me and Doc here have made our opinions about the video since then.
Okay. And that's jumped up though in views, hasn't that?
I don't know about that.
What did he say?
He was
I asked
asking
if
about-
that's jumped up in views with this other channel covering your
Oh,
the
no.
video. Or,
My channel's pretty severely red listed or something.
Yeah, but if they have links to it and they know what your name is, they're going to get there. Nothing's going to stop them. You know, I found you out of the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you did. I don't know how you
So-
did it. But
Well, you know, my viewing was a certain type of video. I don't look at anything else online. I mean, unless it's got to do with working on a car or gardening or some hobby that I'm interested in or whatever I'm interested in, which is not, it's not the typical bullshit that has, millions of subscribers. It's, anyway, I ran across you because I was looking at Direct D. The first one I saw was Lackluster when he covered that dude down in Florida who had, a private citizen pull a gun on him in the pool. That guy. And then he got arrested. Yeah, and he got arrested. He was the dude that you saw that one, right, Kennedy? Have you seen that?
I saw it, but he didn't pull a gun on the cop.
No. The other citizen inside
Oh, yeah,
the pool
yeah. Okay.
did brandish a weapon at this guy who eventually ended up at gunpoint on the hot fucking Florida pavement. Now look right now.
The
Right.
collar.
Yeah. And he was just like, "What's wrong with you? I'm in my swim trunks. I can't hold anything except this phone. Put the phone down." I mean, you guys saw it. Anyway,
that's why they're not qualified to determine what a crime is. They just got there and bullied the victim.
Right, exactly. That's why the only job a police officer is authorized to do, the only thing they're allowed to do in their work is to execute warrants and arrest those criminals and collect the information or evidence named in that warrant. None of this other stuff is even in their job description. None of it. Not a single bit. None of it.
I somewhat disagree. So
Well,
they
you can
did
disagree
the
all you want,
contract.
but that's their mandate by the people.
Yeah,
Let's hear it, Diesel.
the contract is with the city. the sheriff is the one that's truly lawful and truly has rights to investigate any crime.
Well, Diesel, let me tell you something. If no one else has rights, then why can't you just arrest them for disorderly conduct immediately?
Well, I'm talking about just
Right, and it sounds like you're saying that the sheriff has special rights that other people don't have.
Yeah, he doesn't have shit. He
No.
can't have more rights than the people.
Right.
He's above the police.
No, so what it is that we give rights to the cops. That means that everything that we give them, such as the right to bear arms inside a courtroom, we give them that. That means we have it to give.
Right. They don't get any rights that aren't derived from consent of the people. So we could take those rights away from them if we so choose, but we don't. But I see what
We need
Diesel is
to,
saying.
But yeah.
You know, the sheriff is an elected official. The chief of police is appointed by the fucking mayor and the city council as a foreign mercenary. He's a foreign mercenary.
Here's what it is. They all took an oath.
All of them. That's right.
So you need to hold them to that oath no matter what anything else says. No matter what anything else says. Oh, the Supreme Court says they have a right to fucking look in your kid's butthole. Well, okay. You need to follow your oath.
Well, and double check, because I've been led by a couple of other videos. I do not have first-hand knowledge. But the police in California is taking a completely different oath. It's not really an oath to the Constitution anymore. It's the oath to uphold and follow the law of the city.
No, Doc, can you look that up? I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I
Except
will,
for they
because-
probably still include the Constitution, and then with the supremacy clause, the oath of the city would basically be meaningless.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They can make up.
I'll
They can
tell
make-
you what their oath is. It's to uphold the laws of the United States, and then to uphold the laws of their state.
Well, none of them have actually the true written in law oath of office anyway. None of them. It's
Oh, well, that might be a thing, I guess, but still, that means they're not law enforcers and stuff.
It's
Yeah,
too bad there's nothing in their oath about having to act as checks and balances against the other branches. Is there?
Yeah, it's uphold and defend the laws of the United States.
Right,
Okay,
here-
I guess, yeah, that's true.
Here is
Well, it's Article 6, USC, Article 6, Title 4, USC, or Section 101, is
No,
the
that-
original
that-
oath of
that doesn't
office
make
written
sense.
by the Second Congress.
Hold on, that doesn't make any sense.
okay. Orange County Sheriff's Department oath of office. Let's take a look at this.
Not the sheriff, local cops.
Not the sheriff.
I thought you said sheriff.
Now, the sheriff should, I don't know anything about them, sheriff should have some form of
These
oath,
are all copied and pasted
but the local
from the
cops,
state law. These are all copied and pasted from the state law, so it doesn't matter.
that's true.
One state or city or the police versus the sheriff, it doesn't mean anything. These are all going to be based on the state's policy, so it's not.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the oath of office of the city clerk. Let's see what it says. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California. So they admit that the Constitution of the United States comes first, and then California, and then the city charter.
Think about this. You got two things, but one of them says that it's superior in the Article 6 Supremacy Clause.
Right.
So if you're obeying both of them and one of them says it's superior, then what?
Then you're good.
Then you have to obey that. It says it's
Right.
superior. Like, it's just basic logic, really.
Yeah, and it gives you double standing in court of the violations they have committed.
Well, you know,
I guess
look,
what's kind of odd.
it's all crimes. It's
The
all
state
crimes
constitution-
against the people. All of it is crimes. I gotta give the mic over. I'll be back.
Yeah, me too. I'll be right back.
I think one thing that's kind of odd is that they, after the day after the Terry versus Ohio holding, that all these police would just assume that anything had changed, where they could run out and start using these, I'm suspicious of you, and I'm going to put my hands on you, and fourth A violation, seize you right here so that I can do an investigation. And if you so much as flinch, then your colored butt is going to prison. This whole thing that they wanted to do. It's amazing that nobody said boo about that. Nobody said nothing.
Well,
They
and the
changed their
prosecutor-
policies nationwide and just, it's just insane.
when the state actually gave authority to the prosecutor to give legal determinations to the officers and all that, well, under their sovereign and citizen immunity, they are allowed to guide to the officers, so they'll run out and violate your rights, and they may not even know it because they don't do their own research, which, by the way, ignorance of law is no excuse.
Right, and one thing you got to realize is, although they're claiming these immunities, these are things that were given by courts illegitimately, and they actually don't mean anything. Created equal. All men are created equal. The importance of that concept is the idea that if it's wrong for one man to do something, it's wrong for any man to do something, that same thing to another man, is just, and wearing a costume doesn't change that. Or in other words, being one of the king's men, there are no king's men who have this special right to commit crimes against people within our midst.
Well, the original intent, anyway, is that any government official is supposed to own land for if they
Well,
violate
Hold
another
on,
man's
Diesel.
rights.
Diesel, we're not interested in intents, okay? So what we're interested in is, first and foremost, the Supremacy Clause. Everyone's bound to the laws of the United States. So that's number one. So what is the Supreme Court holding, Diesel? Do you know? Can you tell me?
Article 6.
No.
No,
What is it?
Marbury.
I'm saying, what legal
Oh, what is it?
authority does the Supreme Court holding, that's your word, what does that have?
Well, their legal coding is to instruct their, like Congress passing a law, their job mainly is to say, hey, no, that's unconstitutional. You need to go back and rewrite it. But Congress still...
You can't
can
question,
force.
listen, you can't question the constitutionality of the Fourth Amendment, though. So is Terry v. Ohio a Supreme Court holding, in your opinion?
No, that's unlawful.
Okay, but would you say that it's considered a Supreme Court holding?
Yeah,
It is.
By most
It's
people.
considered. Okay, would you agree that holding has no legal right? Would you agree with that? Holding
I
is
do.
not a law. So it's not a law, it's Congress makes laws. So courts, if their holding is this or that, I would say it doesn't mean anything at all.
You've got opposing holdings to support either side of most cases.
Yeah, for
In
sure.
So which are you going to choose to? You're just going to choose one or the other and hope the judge you end up with aligns with that if you end up charged?
Exactly, and the court's plan is to just side with whatever they want anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So once you come up with this holding, they're just gonna say we want to go with this other holding, but you're wanting to not stand under the Supreme Court because you're only bound to the laws, and the court's bound to the laws, but you got to make them. You got to make them be bound. You gotta tell them they're bound to it. That's one failing in my video, is that I didn't read the Supremacy Clause. I should have done that. Because
Well-
To the
then he
judge,
would-
you mean?
The way I see this,
To the judge, Kennedy, you should have read it. You mean?
I'm sorry, I still couldn't.
Yeah,
hear you.
I'm asking. Did you mean you should have read that to the judge?
Yeah.
The supremacy clause. You said you should have read that. Did you mean to the judge?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
And then when I arrested the prosecutors, which you guys haven't seen that audio yet, or heard it, I arrested the prosecutors at the next hearing for taking part in treason. I turned their custody over to the judge. I told the judge, hey, you said you're a judge. Now prove it.
Right.
And he continued to be a little entitled toddler.
He refused to arraign these men, even though there was an injured complainant standing right there that had arrested these men, transferred custody to the courts, refused to do his job. So over and over again, I have all of these grounds for appeal, all over and over again, and I feel like that's not what David's understanding. But then again, he's got some points. One thing is that I agreed to an all caps name. Why did I do that? I don't know. My glasses were dirty. I couldn't even read it. But as far as like, why did I do it? Because I was under duress. I was in jail. Anything I answer to these fucking retards while I'm imprisoned is duress. It's under duress. It's that I'm scared to say the wrong answer or some shit, right?
Right.
Well,
Because
yeah,
can
they
do
tell
whatever
you
they
over
want.
and over that you need to prove your innocence to them
Yeah,
in various ways.
You've already been seized. You've already been imprisoned. So
Yeah.
it sure seems like, yeah, you do have to prove your innocence, which you do. I know the law says otherwise, but
And how are you
you
going
have
to do
to
that
be-
if you're incarcerated as well because you can't make your bond, which, like you say in your book, is automatically excessive bail. If someone can't pay it, it's automatically excessive.
Right.
to
Right.
me it seems like it is. Maybe if it was a
To
real
everyone,
crime.
it seems like it is. Unless
Well,
you got
hold on. You always got to look at the other side.
right. If there's dead
That's a
bodies,
guy that's murdered somebody
Right.
or 10
exactly.
people.
Exactly.
And he's like, I only have 48 cents. My bond needs to be a quarter. It's like, you got to look
No.
at both sides. But
Okay,
then
but
again,
nowadays they could actually watch him and make sure he doesn't flee country. I guess then what? I guess maybe they couldn't stop him in that case, though, huh?
No,
Well-
a guy like that needs to be in prison. If he killed someone and it's provable and they got enough evidence to make a charge anyway, then yeah, man, that dude doesn't deserve to. His
Well,
bond should be $5
Except
million
it's very
fucking dollars.
tricky though, because where do you
That's-
start drawing that line between where somebody is
Well-
innocent until proven guilty and when they're actually not? You
yeah,
know?
that's a great question. And
Yeah, that's a
really
good
what it
point.
has to do with is that you need an injured complainant there in the courtroom saying his bond needs to be $500,000.
I could live with that if that was the way it was.
He killed my mother. His bond needs to be $500 million, goddamn $100. Like seriously, it's got to be an injured complainant standing there and testifying to what it is. Because without that, what the hell are we talking about?
Yeah.
What if someone's unalive though? They can't be an injured complainant.
Well, yeah, but if my cousin was unalive, then couldn't I?
So
be
you would
the-
say a loved one had their rights violated then, and they are the complainant?
Did I have a loss? If that's my
Okay,
cousin.
I gotcha. Yeah. Well, my cousin wouldn't be a big loss, but
I know what you mean. Right? For
right.
sure.
Yep.
For sure.
Family. You gotta love them, but you don't have to
Yeah.
like them.
I get your meaning though.
An injured complainant can come out of the woodwork sometimes. But if you're not out here committing crimes, then it doesn't matter to you. But the problem with the cops is that they think that they're complainants.
Yeah.
Well, look, when I was in my 20s and I was doing my thing with the, I was doing my counter drug war operations.
Yeah.
I retained, you know, once I had some money in my pocket, I retained a lawyer. And when I went to go down there to see him, you know, just to meet him and shake his hand and give him the fucking money, he said, you know, here's the thing. You want to make sure that you don't injure anyone else. You don't want to harm anybody, and you don't want to deprive them of their property. And you don't want to step on their rights. He said, you do those three things, I can get you out of anything. Because he didn't go as far as you have talking about an injured complainant, but he knew what he was doing. You know, he was a damn good lawyer. He was a damn good lawyer.
And more of
He
them
knew
should know
was
what
up.
the hell they're doing. There's really no excuse that more of them aren't stepping forward and saying the same thing that Kennedy's now saying, or that they haven't been doing so.
Well, think about...
I learned this stuff from my legal education. That's
You-
where
well,
I
they-
started studying case law. It's before I even declared for pre-law, in which case I would go on to study more political science and such. But yeah, I didn't even get to that point because it was like, holy shit, man! If you're taking part in this, that's crime.
Yeah.
You're a criminal if you take part in this. So I had to go a different way. I went to sociology, which is more criminal nonsense.
Yeah, it really is. It really is more socialist nonsense.
Yeah, yeah.
It is.
It is.
I mean, yeah, like I had I drove cabs for a while, and I was attacked one night, and so they sent me
Goodness.
to the to the head shrinker, right? And she said to me, she's like, "Do you think that every kind of person like the one that attacked you is going to attack you?" And I looked at her like she was insane. I said, "No, why would I think that? Why would I think that? You know, I'm more
Well,
likely to be attacked by this kind of person than this kind of person who attacked me."
Actually, how like are they? Because
Right.
Right, yeah, like, what
I
are you
mean, you
talking
might
about?
build a natural wariness.
Well, yeah, but you know, it doesn't matter. But my point is, her question was nonsense. Her
Yeah.
question was nonsense.
Well,
you know
guess
what
how
it all
well I am.
starts-
I was raised by a psychologist. I'm sorry, not a psychiatrist,
Oh,
a psychologist.
goodness.
Yeah.
what a fucking nightmare. Was it
And a
mind games?
wannabe cop. When he retired from the VA, he went over and tried to. He was the oldest man to ever do the obstacle course to get into the Portland Police Department, but they chose some chick over him to do whatever job he wanted to do. So yeah,
Oh,
he's
man.
trying to
I bet
become
that was
the oldest new police officer in Portland history. Is what he
I
would have
bet that
become.
was a fucking nightmare for you, wasn't
Well,
I know he wouldn't be a good cop. He would be a tyrannical piece of garbage.
Well, you know, being a cop isn't about being a good cop. It's about getting a state wage and a pension. And
Oh yeah, and also towing the blue line because they'll kick anybody out who doesn't.
it? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I like to cite Frank Serpico in my comments. You know, he wanted to be a cop for all the right reasons. He wanted to get actual criminals off the street, real criminals. He wasn't worried about somebody jaywalking or a bum drinking out of a, you know, drinking beer or liquor out of a brown paper bag. He wasn't worried about that. He was wanting to get, you know, the loan sharks and the drug dealers that were hurting people and shit. You know, he didn't care about petty shit.
Columbo was also like that.
Yeah.
Any good cop that lands in a department should basically be busy from that point on, just cleaning up what's going on in their immediate vicinity.
Exactly, man. And that's, you know, Serpico didn't want to testify against this ring of dudes that were taking money because he didn't feel like he had to. He gave over enough evidence to the chief and to the city safety director, all the people that were above him. He gave all this information to them willingly and signed the affidavits and all that shit. And they still wanted him to testify. And as soon as
And meanwhile, these criminals are walking free and giving him the "I'm going to kill you" out of the
right,
looks
yeah,
out of the corner of their eye. Yeah.
right. These cops that were, you know,
I haven't
basically
seen
taking
that.
bribe money.
So
You know,
I just-
They shot
I
him.
haven't seen it either, but I'm just guessing.
Well, he got. Well, I've read the book too. The book is excellent. He got shot inside. He got shot in the face from inside a trap house, and there were 4 officers behind him, And they didn't do anything to help until he was shot. They didn't have his back at all. They let him go into that situation and get shot.
We've seen that you've seen that in Waco. If you see the footage of Waco, they sent a couple of troublesome agents in first and then ordered an open fire. They do that all the time, and a lot of retired police have come forward and said, I had to leave. I tried to whistleblow on this person or that person, and the next thing it was death threats, and they said the next house we would go raid or whatever, you're going to catch friendly in the back or whatever,
Yeah, of course. They only police out the good cops.
Yeah.
Because we can't have any of that. We can't
Bro, yeah, but come on, man. These guys want to pretend like they're victims. You quit your job once you find you're part of a criminal organization. What the hell are you talking about?
Right, you don't stand around until they do it to you.
Yeah, you quit your job. That's why I arrested the prosecution. Bro, yesterday I told you that this man was committing crimes by being engaged in a war against the American people, and now, God damn it, here you are today. Here you are.
Yeah, back in here again.
I told you the drug war is treason. Bro, it's textbook treason. Try looking it up, you fucking lazy slob.
You gotta wonder if it gave him any anxiety at all.
Oh no,
well,
I'm sure.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. I know that they switched up the attorneys in the prosecution. There was an older man. There was an older man there, and then the younger man was also switched. I think it might have been two different prosecutors entirely, actually, because I recognized one. I knew one of them by sight. I asked him if I needed to get a printout from the court clerks or whatever. And then, so I remember him. I talked to him twice. Once in court, once out of court. I remember him. He wasn't there the second time. And then there was also an older man, which I didn't remember. Who knows, man? They try and keep us from having a record of who the hell is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they should all introduce themselves at the beginning of the proceedings anyway.
Well, that would give some level of anxiety in itself.
Certainly.
Yeah, they should have to identify themselves right at the beginning of the proceedings before the court is even in session. It should be introductions.
It's like a cop covers his name tag when he knows he's doing something wrong.
Yeah, or they say,
cognizance of guilt is what that's called. Where they're like, yeah, you know you're committing a crime, and that's why you don't want to give your name, or that's why you don't want to.
And that's why he's committing a further crime by covering up his ID, because he's a public servant. He doesn't have the right to any anonymity. He has no right to anonymity because he's a fucking public figure. He is a public official.
So you think they're throwing this poor old senile guy under the bus with you, or what, Kennedy?
What?
You think they're throwing this new prosecutor, this poor older guy, this senile guy or whatever, are they throwing him under the bus to you, or what?
No way, man. They're all in it together.
Oh, bro, an old prosecutor is a fucking demon.
Okay, that's true.
He's a fossilized
if he has all his faculties, for sure, he is. I mean, he's done some horrific things.
Yeah.
Of course he has. Of course he has. Every single public official has done horrific things.
A lot of them.
Especially that one, though.
Yeah, I was just talking about this the other day. The prosecutors go to the deepest hell of all.
Yeah, they do. I don't know, man. I still think, I don't know, man. It's a toss-up, dude, because the cops in our country are pretty fucking evil, man. They're evil as fuck, man. I mean, they'll
I
kill
know,
you.
but they're so stupid that they don't know what they're doing. What did they say to Christ? Or, what was it? That they know not what they do. Who said that?
Yeah, that was Jesus. He said, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. That was the last thing he said.
They know not what they do.
The cops are just people who sold their souls. The prosecutors are demons.
Yeah, they're definitely high up there on the list of evil.
Well, like I said, man, I was on the track to go to law school and be a lawyer, and I thought I was going to work from the inside to be the solution, right? You've heard that before. That's nonsense.
Yeah, it's never going to happen. You're going
I
to end
got-
up.
Everyone told me my whole life too. You're gonna have to be a lawyer. You're gonna have to be a lawyer. That's why I did philosophy for so long when I went to university. But yeah, no, I couldn't do it because I knew something was wrong there.
Well, you're gonna have to take part in criminal activity to even get to law school. It's that you accept it. It's that you're like, oh, well, as long as some fucking rope tyrant says it, then okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, what about the law? Oh, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that.
In a courtroom, in a courtroom, we don't have time for the law.
That's exactly what they do. That's so
It
funny.
really is, man. It's absurd. It's an absurdity, man. And even
Yep.
oh my God.
We're not here to argue about that today. Anytime that you
Ever.
something that makes sense.
Right.
Yep. Ever.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about what you want to talk about. We're going to set the narrative. You don't get to. Wrong.
Yeah.
I got freedom of speech even in this courtroom, and I have all these other rights that you guys are going to, you're going to acknowledge today, because
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
are going to be different today.
Just make sure and enumerate them. If you got a chance, go ahead and throw in the supremacy clause. Make sure and remind them that they are bound. They are bound to the United States law, which is our amendments.
That's
It
right.
is high law like treason and extortion and
Capital
Hidden.
crimes.
deprivation of rights under
So
Dakota
what is-
law, conspiracy against rights.
Did you tell the judge then, hey, judge, you're holding, or I'm sorry, your ruling has to be, or your decision on whatever has to be in line with the Constitution and amendments under
Oh,
the
he
Supremacy Clause?
understands.
Unfortunately, I haven't articulated it. However, it was in my 6-page federal criminal complaint. So,
Right, you need to-
assumedly, if he's a grown up, then he's read that.
But
Yeah, you got to get those submitted, dude. You got to send those off to the proper authorities, man. Send them certified if you can. Make them sign for it.
Well, I'm gonna file these federal charges online with the FBI.
And what was the charge on the warrant? Possession or distribution or something?
Both 2 crimes.
Or can you not?
2 crimes. One is distribution of a controlled substance or something, and then the other one was possession of a controlled substance or something, which I think is totally weird because Doc, didn't you just look up whether mushrooms are legal in Oregon?
Yeah, but
What'd you find about it?
well, it's nebulous right now because the socialist trader governor signed that new. They're looking to recriminalize. So let me.
So
see,
in the
let me
odd
see.
way that the law was worded before had something to do with you can have any different types of drugs here and basically up to, they say, what appears to be 10 personal uses. So that makes it...
Yeah, bro. People were getting away with carrying around crystal meth while I was not even accused of. They said
Yeah.
I had drugs, but they don't have evidence for having.
Right.
drugs.
Right.
And now I was gonna say, what is their evidence? Because they didn't seize anything from you.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, they have no evidence. They have nothing to
Okay.
produce in court to say, yeah, this is what he was holding, Your Honor. This is what we got, and hold up an evidence bag. with-
Well, I'm more procedural than that. I'm not going to argue about mushrooms because
Right. You're not going to need to. Yeah, you're not going to need to.
I
Yeah,
don't
so
have
4A,
any
you got 4A and
complaint.
6A is all you need.
Yep. Pretty much.
I mean,
4A, 6A,
that
9A.
is all I need. Yeah, it really is to just have the case dismissed, and we're gonna have a motions hearing soon, and that's gonna be part of it. Certainly, don't worry about that. And it'll be dismissed. This judge is bound to. I know that he's acting in denial of this whole concept the whole time, right? But he's still going to just dismiss the case.
Yeah, I mean, they got nothing to stand on, man. They did this as, this is official repression, is what it is. It's a malicious prosecution.
Yeah,
It's
but
a-
that's
it-
only
it's
a
another
misdemeanor,
240.
I think. in my
Dude,
state,
look, man,
so.
right? Like, yeah, like you've got like 3 or 4 cases here that you could sue these.
Oh,
bastards
bro,
on.
no. I got fucking 20 or 30.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you wanted to go all the way, if you wanted to get like, as you
Bro,
say,
the-
get creative.
The problem isn't that I don't have any options, it's that I have too many. It's that really I need to be filing motions for about fucking 30 things. And I don't know if that I have the energy to fucking play with that.
Well, I told you, man, that I will help you with that if you need somebody to write it for you. All you
Well,
gotta do
I'm
is
gonna have
transcribe.
ChatGPT probably write everything for me. But yeah, I could use your help certainly.
Yeah, get GPT to run it through, and I'll proof it.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
we'll read it together and we'll ask each other like, hey, what's fucked up here?
We'll make it a show, man. We'll make it a show where we talk about
Shit,
filing
I was
these
an editor for
motions.
years. I'll help.
Yeah, why not,
What?
man? I mean, file every single fucking thing you can against those bastards. They'll listen, man. Not only are they going to dismiss, they're going to want to make you an offer pretty damn quick. I think, because you got them dead to rights, man. And once they figure out that you're filing federal suit against them, they're going to bend over backwards to get you paid. They're not going
Well,
to
yeah,
fuck
By the time you've documented all of their collusions and whatnot, and every time they
Yeah,
did derelict
man.
of duty, it's going to be such an impressive list.
Yeah, it's going to
The-
not be good.
The
It's gonna
whole
be pretty
thing is
damning.
bad. It's bad on the chief of police here for Ontario, Oregon. It's also bad on the sheriff. He's already deprived me of my rights. It's also bad on the chief prosecutor because he has already received a criminal complaint concerning this man, Esplin, the same guy that's trying to be the witness against me. Bro, this witness, I'm gonna literally put him in a fucking prison. If he gets on the
Good.
stand and tries to talk about me, I'll fucking put him in prison where he goddamn belongs.
Yeah, he does belong in
He's
a
a
cage.
citizen?
No, he's
He's
a cop.
a sergeant.
Oh, he's a cop?
Esplin. Yeah,
Oh,
he's a
wow.
sergeant.
Is he the one that was?
He's in my video.
Yeah, is he the one that was talking about tomatoes and blueberry pie and shit?
No,
Oh.
that was just a bitch.
Okay.
The sergeant was. I asked him if he'd taken part in any wars against the American people, including the drug war. He wouldn't answer.
That's when he stopped talking. Yeah.
He had a mustache. Also,
Oh,
he was
yeah,
the first.
yeah.
He was the first one I talked to because he was the one that ran my plates without a warrant. So that's an illegal seizure. So listen, when they try and say, "Oh, I have evidence against you because I looked in your car and found it, goddamn anything," then it's just like, bro, did you have a warrant to search? They're gonna say, "Oh, I had a plain view doctrine by the courts." Yeah, the problem is the courts don't make laws, you fucking dumbass. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna object anytime they bring up case precedent at all.
Oh yeah.
Jeff, I'm going to. I mean, bro, I've already lawfully arrested the judge. I've already lawfully arrested the prosecutors. Everything here is documented. Like that these people are committing crimes against me and America. But I'm the complainant. I'm injured. I'm the injured complainant. Swearing a signed statement of sworn damages. Sworn damages. That's the difference between me being a complainant and them just being fucking
Oh, I
dicks
see.
and refusing their job.
And they take no responsibility for their actions, none whatsoever. They just act
All-
like he never
All the
refutes.
authority.
Yeah, he never refutes anything that you said in court. He never said, "Oh, I'm not a traitor." He never denied it.
Bro, he found me competent to defend myself.
Right. So
Legally.
he's saying right. So when he said that, when he made that decision, he proved that you were right the day before when you arrested him for treason.
Yeah. Yup. Yup.
He can't say you're competent today, but you weren't competent yesterday. That makes no sense.
I've
Well,
signed a sworn statement of damages under threat of penalty of perjury. So,
Right.
I mean, I guess I could be brought up on charges of perjury if I lied, but guess what?
You didn't lie.
So,
He didn't hold you in contempt. So
it's
you know
not
that.
hearsay.
No, it's
And-
not.
And honestly, to tell you the truth, this whole mental illness bullshit is nonsense. Because guess what? You still have your same rights, no matter how mentally fucked up you are.
That's right. That's right.
But-
Absolutely right.
Of course, you gotta invoke them and stuff. But
Yep,
but still,
absolutely.
if you're fucked up and you invoke your rights, then guess what that means? It means you're not that fucked up.
You're right.
How TF are any of under code statute? How the fuck are any under
Oh.
code statute precedent case law or ordinance about to by force going to put someone in jail, dungeon, or cause punishment? You know what? You're right, bro. They can't, because they need an injured complainant, a sworn statement from an injured complainant, and that means. Here's the deal, is that we've got the Supremacy Clause. First off, it says the judges are bound to the laws of the United States, regardless of state law. And then we have the 14th Amendment that says Congress, not your state, city, federal, no Congress shall create a law abridging your federally protected rights. Okay, and then we've got a case precedent, which you shouldn't cite, I got that. But it's just explaining, it's upholding the Supremacy Clause,
Oh,
Marbury
okay. Well,
v. Madison.
right. That's yeah. I think that what we have here is a failure to communicate properly. He's saying that he's saying how do we do it to them?
Well, what it is number one, you got to enforce your right not to be accused of a crime without a complainant. So soon I have a motions hearing coming up. I'm going to have the case dismissed at that. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to point out that I have a Fourth Amendment right not to be seized without a warrant, and that warrant needs to be based on an injured complainant's sworn statement of damages. That makes the warrant that seized me illegal. So I'm going to move to suppress it. Once we don't have a warrant, then we have nothing. We don't have a case. So it's
There's no
motion
case.
to dismiss. Now it's motion to dismiss with prejudice.
He's still coming with the belligerence. You got bigger guns. It's not about guns, man. It's about paperwork. It's about getting it on the record, man. It's getting it on the record.
The courts are bound to the Supremacy Clause. So let's say I lose or something. Then I still have appeal grounds. I already have appeal grounds. We haven't even started the trial or anything. I mean, think about that.
Yep. When are you going to get your discovery? Is what I want to know.
I think I can pick it up anytime. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I wish you would pick it up.
You're out. You're
What's
out.
that? How about now?
You're back. You're back.
Yeah. Okay. So I hope that you go and get it on Monday so we can look at it and talk about it and see what they got, because my feeling is they don't have jack shit.
Well, as soon as I get the discovery, we're gonna find out about the complainant, right? For sure.
Right. And there ain't going to be one.
And once we find out there is no complainant, then we can start doing things like charging the judge that signed the warrant with what is it? Counterfeiting. It's counterfeiting. She's counterfeited a warrant. Because what this piece of paper actually is a memo between the judge and the cops, and she signed it. Someone labeled warrant on the top. It doesn't make it a warrant.
So
It's
they
not a
hand wrote
warrant.
warrant. They hand wrote warrant on the top.
No,
of the
it's not about handwriting. It was printed. But it's about that it can't be a warrant unless there's an injured complainant.
Right. With no complainant, there's no warrant. The Fourth Amendment's pretty plain about that.
That
It's
means
pretty clear.
That means she counterfeited illegal document. You
Or she
understand?
she produced a fraudulent document.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Document every rights violation, dereliction, etc. It'll be an impressive list. It will be an impressive list. It's too big to document.
well,
These
you know,
people
just-
are all involved in this shit.
right. So you could charge every single person in that courtroom in their official capacity with some kind of crime because they're colluding and aiding. The stenographer is colluding and aiding, you know, and giving them comfort. We have a record of this. I'm recording all this. So she's guilty too of crimes against you. So's the bailiff. The bailiffs are without a doubt.
Well, listen, the actual truth is that if one public servant commits a crime against you, then all public servants are guilty, unless the original criminal is held to account. Otherwise, we're talking about a criminal organization, and they're all involved.
Yep. Well, it is a criminal organization without question. You know, if they're part of the FOP and they're police, guess what? They're part of a national crime syndicate.
Well, they don't have to be, but yeah, they are they all tend towards that. I would say
Sure,
if
of
you're
course they
gonna
do.
bet on something, you just bet on the cops being traitors.
Yeah. Bet on every cop being a criminal. Bet
But
on
you're
him
kind of
lying.
counting on, in the end, kind of forcing them to actually act within there.
The
Go ahead.
lower courts are notorious for being kangaroo bullshit. And
Right.
then once
Yeah.
you appeal it, then you are reputed to have a better situation where all they're looking at is the transcript. You're out. You're out of audio.
Me or
All they're- No, you're good. It's Doc.
What about now?
It's still in and out, in and out,
crackling though?
and crackling. Yeah. There.
How about now? Is it good?
It just cracked again, but sure.
Oh well, you know, I don't know what
You're
to
fine
I don't
now.
know what to do. Yeah, maybe getting hot here. You know, man, this has been. We're coming up on 3.5 hours, man, and no end in sight. Let's reconvene on Monday or Tuesday, man, when you get your discovery. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
I'm gonna bounce out.
Yep. Hey, thanks a lot for
Cool.
coming, you guys. Remember, subscribe, like, and comment, please. Thanks for coming. What's the matter, you, Diesel,
Yep.
Dave, and Brixie? We'll see you cats on the
Jeff.
tour. Yep, Jeff. Everybody
Yep,
else in the
you're
chat.
right.
Yep. Y'all have a good
Thanks, guys.
one. Later.